The final frontier of gaming this year is upon us, and Sonic has finally graced us with his presence. Let's talk about it. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 31 for the second week of November 2022. I'm your host, Mike Z, and joining me, as always, is my co-host himself. Some would say he's the Atreus to my Kratos, but we'll argue about that later. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Birdman himself, Logan B. What's up?
Oh, what's up, everyone? Oh, this is an exciting week to talk about some very good games and I don't know, just some new things that I've been doing. But other than that, yeah, I'm excited to get into it. But yeah, how's your week been going, by the way, Mike?
Absolutely dog shit outside of gaming. Gaming's been great. Been loving what I've been doing, but man, work sucks. It's just busy. And like I don't mind being busy. It's whatever. It's just I don't know. I'm working a lot of extra hours that I usually don't like to work, and I'm one of those guys that I don't like to live at my job. I like to go to work, get off, come home, and live my life. I don't like to live my life at my job. I don't like to be there for any longer than I should be, and I've been working extra hours, and it's been annoying me. So, especially with what I have to do at home, which to me is very important. So, hopefully, it is very important to everybody out there that listens to this. Otherwise, what are you doing listening to this? You know?
Yeah, I feel that.
But how about you? How's work treating you? How's life?
Same, honestly. We're at our busiest right now, and especially towards the end of the year, it always gets very, very busy. I'm actually been looking for a new job, so I'm kind of tired of this, and it's just not great. And especially the drive here and back to work just seems to get worse and worse every day. So, yeah, it's been pretty crappy, but other than that,
I was gonna
everything
say,
else
yeah,
has been pretty good.
it doesn't even pay
So,
that well, does it? I think I make more working
no,
at Target.
yeah, I know I don't make enough, and it's not worth it at all. And
Yeah.
especially when I've been working there for over a year and I never got any kind of raise, bonus, nothing. I'm just kind of tired of it, and I'm just like, I just need to find something new. So I will be finding a new job next year. I will.
Well,
Not maybe, I will. I will find anything.
well, that's good out
So,
there. For those of you out
but
there that are working for a corporation that you don't like, but you don't want to leave because you think for some reason that you owe something to them, you don't owe shit to anybody. Go live your life. Go do what you want. If you're not happy, find a way to be happy. And there you go. That's my preach for the week. I'm just kidding. There's gonna be a lot more preaching, but
no, I agree with that for sure. So, other than that, though, I mean, it's been pretty good. I'm really excited for gaming news and nerdy stuff and all the greatness that is to come in this last bit of this month and all of next month. So,
yeah, we haven't talked at all. I haven't played any sort of Call of Duty or anything. It's our first time talking since we recorded the last episode. So, yeah,
I will.
Oh shit, drop something. Go ahead.
Oh, I will say that I did check out the new update today for Call of Duty because Warzone and all that came out, and I just dated the episode. But yeah, no, I just checked it out today, and man, I can't wait to play it. I'm very excited. I haven't gotten to actually play anything other than Shoot House, which also got re-added for mod for 2019. It's Shoot House, so if you're expecting anything different, it was Shoot House, just a little bit different looking. So. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I'm gonna shoot a text out to our squad and seeing if they want to hook up and play maybe later on the weekend if I'm free or next week on my days off because I should be getting through God of War fairly quickly. And obviously, yeah, Pokemon comes out Friday, but that's a play whenever. That's not a get through as fast as I can. Or play it at all times. So I'm sure I'm gonna
That's
like
right.
it, and I'm sure I'm gonna be addicted to it. But that's a just whenever. And also, Peyton's planning on playing The Last of Us Part 2, while I play Pokemon on the Switch. So that's why it's part of the reason why we bought and played through part one a little while ago, so she could get caught up on the story. Because a YouTube video isn't suffices enough. I have to spend $70 on a game and spend 16 hours playing said game. But you know what? Hey, I loved it. Got a platinum out of it. So, all right,
That's fair.
let's hop on into it. As always, we start the episode or the week with question of the week. This one's a little bit of a long one, but I wanted to maybe get Logan's opinion on something that I got into an argument with on a certain user whose name I will not say. I think it's like Cult of Free something 727, whatever his name is. But anyway, I got into an argument with him on Reddit over there. So this is the elongated question that I posed to you, Mr. Logan. I want to know: are we living through the death of video games as we knew and loved them? To further explain, I want to say with the influx of conglomerate corporations increasing interest in the industry and the want/need for continuous properties that churn out money at free will, are we witnessing the death of the artistic era of video games and the birth of games as corporate entities? Or is this simply an overreaction to the current trends we see around the industry as a whole? I know that's kind of a loaded question. Don't know how long you got the chance to think about what you have to say. But my answer is kind of Switzerland-ish, so it's not as interesting. But I do think there is an argument to be made that the best of video games are behind us in a way. As a whole, we're still going to get good projects. We're still going to get, well, shit, we're playing through God of War right now, and we're still going to get these other things. But, it just seems like games are being made more so than ever with the sole purpose to make money and less to entertain us and present a work of art to somebody. What do you at? I know it's a loaded question.
It's an interesting question. I both agree and disagree in many ways that I don't think this is clearly the death. There's no death to this. Video games are literally at its peak at this moment, where it's reached its like popularity to its max. I mean, you could think of anyone or talk to anyone at this point, and they at least know of some video games. Like it's actually at its most popular stage right now. And as you even have said to me multiple times, it is the most popular media out right now, even over movies and TV shows and stuff like that. And yes, there are some companies that are very greedy and they make games specifically for money, and it does work and it makes them money, and that's great. But there are still some games that come out there that aren't about that. And I think they are the best games I ever played, and even better than games I played back in the day. Back in the 360, PS3, and even before then, that was literally the Wild West, in my opinion. It was the Wild West. We had, really, really good games. Online gaming was a kind of a new thing. It was really fresh, and a lot of new things were just kind of like really new at the time. We didn't all have smartphones in our hands that could play games. That was the Wild West. That was like the peak of like gaming to a lot of people. But I will say that people don't really look at the negatives, and they have all this thing in their head where they thought it was just blissful and there was nothing ever wrong with what there was back in the day. There was things wrong with it. There were bad games. There were never just all perfect games that came out at that era. Yeah, a lot of our favorite games in our head as we get older are from that age, but like in my opinion, there's a lot of super amazing games that are even blowing me away today. Like 2 games this year, spoiler alert, have been just absolutely mind-boggling good for me. Like I love Elden Ring. I love God of War. I think both of them are insanely good games. And guess what? They're not all about making money. They're not all about pushing this whole corporate movement and everything. I think it all is just really, really good and very artistic and very much evolving what gaming is. So I don't agree that the death of gaming is here. Yes, there are a lot of corporate made games, and yeah, there's a lot of games that are trying to push for this, stupid live service crap and everything. And guess what? Most of those games that are trying to do that aren't working out. And I feel like we're just in that era right now where everything's trying to be live service and slowly it's going to start moving on. And I feel like some game companies are going to understand that they can't make live service games, they won't work. And some of them will, and they'll probably stick with it. So I think a lot of game companies right now, especially the ones that are not doing so great because they did some really dumb things, are trying something new, notice that they're failing insanely bad, and will hopefully be moving on to maybe something different, maybe more innovative in some way. But I will agree, yes, corporate has become a really big part of gaming now, and there are a lot of games that are very greedy and do really dumb things, especially mobile gaming, but that's why I don't care about mobile gaming. Mobile gaming ever since like 20 what, 12? No wait, 20 probably 14 have been the most greedy money bag thing in the entire world. And sadly, it has made its way over to what we see as console gaming now, or PC gaming. And all games nowadays, they have brought that greed from mobile games into what we have nowadays. But, it is what it is. But I gotta say, gaming is at its peak still. I think we have some of the best games I've ever played in my entire life coming out, like Red Dead Redemption 2, literally my favorite game of all time, above anything else. And that came out in 2018. So I don't believe that gaming is going down. I think it's only going up, but there will always be a lot of negatives too to the point it's going up. The more popular something gets, the more hate it gets, in my opinion, because there's always bound to be some dumb crap that comes out, but there's always going to be that one or two within a year that just blow people's mind away. So I don't agree it's the death. I think honestly we are our best moment right now in gaming, and I love it. So I don't have any problem with what's going on at all.
I mean, I agree with you with saying that obviously it's not the death of gaming. Like, gaming is, financially speaking, at the highest point it's ever. Well, technically it's on the downtrend now, but 2020 and 2021 were the highest point it's ever been. But we were bound to see that when people got back to work and got back to their lives as a whole. I do think there is a slight argument to be had, though, that artistically speaking and forward momentum speaking, that we are seeing, again, not the death, that's a bad word to use, but I need to turn my freaking ringer off, but the lacking of what is and always will be at its core an art form, a way for people to express themselves and all that. And yes, we got Elden Ring, we've gotten God of War, Horizon less so. So there are going to be those outliers, and there are going to be those few companies that champion the idea of video games as an art form and as a way to express themselves in new and interesting ways. But I think what the argument that I was subscribing to, it wasn't exactly just based on quality. Like, not everything works out, not everything is great. What I was trying to argue with this guy, and it wasn't really like a mean argument or anything like that. He said some mean things, but I didn't care. Was the fact that we see less and less risk and less focus on creating new and interesting ideas, especially in the AAA verse. Um, I look back at some of the games that are created, yeah, like in the PS2 and in the PS3 era, and I just miss some of those wholly unique games that we just don't seem to get a lot of anymore. And like when we get them, they're great. I think of Cult of a Lamb or something like that, and even that takes inspiration from a lot of other things. I worry a little bit, especially with how expensive everything is getting, how expensive it is to make these games, how expensive it is to get these games onto platforms, that more and more companies are going to find maybe that one game that, let's say live service game that hits good. And they're like, okay, well, why would we make anything else? Valve's a great analog for that. Not in like a live service game, but they were making mind-boggling games and just wholly unique and different and changing the industry. And then they created Steam that makes them a buttload of money, and we've seen one project from them worth anything in 10 years. And I don't blame them. Why would they spend the money to make a couple $1,000,000 when they make millions of dollars a day running Steam? And honestly, I will probably never see anything from them again outside of Half-Life Alyx that's even on the same competitive landscape as that. So I just worry that if okay, let me just focus in on the Sony thought of my argument that I was presenting here. Sony is moving into live service games, and there is a part of me that kind of hopes they all fail, because I love Sony for a certain reason, for this game that we're currently playing, for Horizon that we played, for all these single player narrative driven games that I hold near and dear to my heart, and I will continue to hold near and dear to my heart. But I worry that, if they find their Fortnite, if they find their Destiny, if they find their fill in the blank game that churns out money, I'm afraid a little bit that they'll be like, well, why would we spend $150 million to make The Last of Us Part 3 and see that sell 10 million to 15 million copies when we have this game over here that makes that much money in a month? Why would we do that? Now, there is an argument to be said, they know that game allows them to do the other game, but do you get what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's really just the way that we've evolved in technology altogether. Like, I watched a video and I heard of this specific YouTuber before called the Act Man. He posted a very good video on this fact in general, is that live service has changed a lot of gaming in general, because it used to be back in the day when you release a game, it is what it was, or it is what it is, but also there was no way to really put out updates. There was, unless you're very lucky and you come out with a disc like Halo 2, where they added map packs in a disc form. Like, it's live service gaming, and the fact that you can literally always come out with something. It could even be broken, and people always have this mindset that they're going to fix it later on, and also live services, as you were saying too, just makes them a lot of money, and it's very easy because you could just come out with something and you can just keep coming out with content for it and never have to make another game, and you're constantly making money off that without ever having to put money into a new game. And that's just what it is. Like, if it sucks, but I don't think that completely makes every company or even the same companies not want to do it. Like, Steam is just really greedy, but they also just came up with the biggest amount of money possible by just coming out with Steam, and they don't need to make games anymore. But PlayStation already has a store. They already have a thing. I wouldn't really be worried that if they come out with a live action or a live service game and it does do well, I don't think that's going to make them just stop making single player games or stop focusing on them. I think they know what a good portion of the Sony, like PlayStation people love is single player games. I mean, that's what pretty much held PlayStation 4 up. It was their whole single player, story driven, semi open world games. So obviously, I wouldn't be worried about it. I don't think they're gonna get rid of it. I don't think they're gonna move on from it. But honestly, it's just what it is. Like, I don't be worried that if anything, them making more money will make them not only gain more studios, but will also hopefully make them gain more games and more single player stories to come out of all this. So I think there's a positive and a negative. I understand that you're negative and you're to be afraid that they're just going to go towards this whole money hungry movement, this whole Steam format. But also, if they do make more money, it may also move to the other goalpost where literally they'll buy new studios, or they'll make new studios, and they'll start making more single player games. Not buy, but make or work with a company for long enough and then buy them out, like they're probably going to do with Square Enix.
I don't want them to buy Square Enix.
Bam. So that's what I mean. Like, I could see both ways, and I would hope Sony would go towards a more consumer format. But I mean, I know Sony, and they're very anti-consumer on a lot of their things. So who knows? But I guess we'll see. But I I still think gaming, even altogether, even with all these flaws and negatives and everything, I've seen the best games I've ever played ever in my entire life in these last few years in what we call modern gaming today. So I don't know. There's negatives and there's big positives. So
All right, speaking of modern gaming, let's excuse me. Let's get into talking about some modern gaming. What do you say?
yeah, I'm totally down. I'm
All
ready.
right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is the XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast, where Logan and myself sit down with y'all and talk about all the news stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. We post a new episode each and every week, most of the time, so you can listen to it whenever you want. You can find us on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you are enjoying what we're doing here on the XP Podcast, please go over to our Patreon and support us, where you get to be a part of our weekly discussions and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search Experience Point, spelled capital X, capital P, ERIENCE, capital POINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry. We still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. You can also go over to our YouTube channel where you can get this show and all of our shows in video format. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. With all that out of the way, let's get into this week's show. In our point of the show, Logan and I are proud to bring you our initial impressions of God of War Ragnarok. In Around the Point, the nominations for the Game Awards have been announced, and we will go through some of the bigger categories and let you know which ones we think will take the prize and whether that game deserves it or not. The Witcher 3 Next Gen finally has a release date, and now we know when we will get to jump back into the dark and brutal world of The Witcher. Call of Duty has announced we will see a full premium release in 2023. What exactly could this mean? We will talk about that and so much more. But before we get to all that, it's time for what is and ever will be for What You've Been Doing, where we catch up on all things pop culture that we've been doing, whether that be gaming, TV shows, movies, books, or comics. It doesn't matter to us because we like it all and love to talk about it. So, Mr. Birdman, this is pretty much a you and only you topic because I've played God of War Ragnarok and literally nothing else. So, you have a bunch of things here. You have some things I'm interested in. So, I'll just let you take it away, and after you're done, we'll go into the next thing.
All right. So what have I been doing for the last week or so? Um, so I kind of missed this the other week that we recorded, so I'm gonna bring it up now. I actually played a new VR game that my wife got, and it's actually really really cool. It's called I Expect You to Die. There's two of them that came out. There's a third one I believe that's supposed to come out too this year. Um, it's an insanely fun like escape room type game, but like it's like spy themed. So every mission is like you get put in these weird funny scenarios as a spy, and you're supposed to, like you're doing like a mission against like a certain villain or something like that, and you're supposed to like escape it in a sense. Like but you're trying to fulfill an objective, but you're also trying to escape from this. And there's like a lot of ways to clearly, as it says in the title, to die. And if you ever get a chance to play it, it's really hard to explain other than what I did. Uh, it's a very, very fun game. It's super good, in my opinion. I'm not really a big puzzle or escape room fan, but this game is super fun. Amy got me really into it. It's really, really fun. I beat the first game, really loved it. I got, I think, two or three missions into the second one, and it's just really fun. And it's a very comfortable VR game. And what I mean by that is you just sit down and you can just play it sitting down. It's not a lot of movement, not a lot of crazy stuff happening. It's very just comfortable and fun to play. And it's a very, very, very good and very fun VR game if you ever get a chance to play. If you can ever pick it up on sale or anything, it's definitely worth it in my opinion. You got any questions, Mike?
No, I know absolutely nothing about it. What's it called again?
I Expect You to Die.
Sorry, I was messing with my phone. It won't fucking charge for some reason. And I'm annoyed by it. I expect you to die. Steam. Alright, let's check this thing out. Let's see. Oh god, please don't play. Okay. Test your problem-solving skills in this virtual reality escape the room puzzle game. Play as a secret agent armed with telekinetic abilities on a mission to stop Zoraxis, an evil corporation with plans for world domination. I mean, yeah, from the trailer, it looks like a VR game. I'm sure the trailer does a bad job of showing what makes it special, but yeah, from the trailer, it looks like a VR game to me.
Yeah, it's really really fun. Again, yeah, it's not a super in-depth one, but it's like, again, like if you like
Depth.
escape rooms,
Depth.
you're
There's a
gonna love
P.
this.
Say the goddamn P, Logan. Depth.
Escape.
Not
Nope.
death. Depth.
Nope. Death. Death.
Fucking god damn it.
All right. So, all right. So, the next thing I did this week, because again, Mike seemed to have done nothing. You want to tell anyone what you have been doing? What is it? Literally nothing else. Cleaning?
Oh,
Nope.
nope.
Eating?
Barely.
Just me and Kratos. That is all. That's what he's been doing.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, I'm gonna add something real quick.
Oh, okay. Gym. We all forgot about that part.
Going to the gym
Okay.
and playing. I'm trying to look like Kratos, man. It's hard.
Hey, dude, you should definitely do that. Yeah, you could pull it off.
My
But you
goal
just
is
gotta get like a cap and everything.
yeah,
But,
my
you get the
goal is
beard
like
and everything.
to be able to cosplay as Kratos without having to wear like a bodysuit or anything. That would be amazing.
That would be pretty cool.
Why the fuck are
Uh,
you not charging? I'm sorry, I'm very angry.
Oh, you're good. Okay, so the other thing I did this last week. So quite a like I don't know, probably like a month ago or 2 months ago that I brought up that I was playing the quarry with my friends. I finally beat it. Is good. It definitely wasn't the best one I've ever played that they made. But it's a very fun one, and there's a lot of ways to die, and I like that a lot. But the ending was very, very lame. Just bad. I don't even know what to think of it. It was just so abrupt. Like it just happened. And you're like, oh, that's the end? Oh, okay. All right. You're just done. You're done. You beat it. It's like, oh. So it's good. If you can pick it up on sale, I definitely think this game playing with friends is insanely fun. And they even offer a mode where you can literally watch the entire game as a movie, and it does all the decisions for you. It's kind of cool. Like there's literally one where you could just put everyone dies and you could just sit back and watch like a movie, which I think is pretty cool. But obviously playing with friends is the best way to do this game, which I mean you could say that about any game. But it is really, really fun. I played it with, a bunch of friends and my wife, and it was really, really fun. It's a really cool. It wasn't a very original story, and especially the monster or monsters, I would say, are very original in any way. But I still thought it was pretty good and pretty cool. So if you ever get a chance to play it, I definitely do recommend it on sale. If you can maybe pick it up for like $20, highly recommend it. But if you pay like I would not pay $70 or $60, for example, for this game. It's still good though. Which, by the way, I do want to shout out. All of the Dark Picture anthology games did get a next gen upgrade, and Man of Medan, by the way, added a new chapter to the game, which I bet you. I don't know what they added, but it's a certain chapter supposedly. So I kind of want to go back and play Man of Medan just so I could see what is different. But other than that, next thing I've been doing, I guess I'll cut in real quick and say I played Modern Warfare 2. Clearly, nothing new about that. I even brought that up earlier. So there's not really a lot to talk about. If you guys do want to hear our thoughts, though, on Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, do check out the last episode. We have a lot to talk about on it, and highly recommend it. Other than that, I did start watching a certain show that I thought I was never going to watch, but Amy finally got me to go watch it. So I started watching a show that I just had the lowest of low hopes for, and that is She-Hulk. I started watching She-Hulk. I am 2 episodes in right now. And I don't know if it's because my hopes were at the bottom of the floor in the trash bin on fire, but it's not that bad, you know? Like it's not that bad. Like it's not great. It's not the best the MCU's ever seen. Uh but I will say I've been enjoying it more than I ever did Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I guess that's a bonus because it's actually pretty good. Like it's funny. It's not really taking itself super seriously. And yeah, I mean I'm only 2 episodes in, so I'll let you know whenever I get to the end. But I'll say for the first 2 episodes, I've been enjoying it. You know, it's actually pretty good, and I like some of the callbacks to the original Incredible Hulk movie. That movie that like no one talks about, but is literally basically the beginning of the MCU. They actually have callbacks to that, so they're actually bringing back a lot of the details from that, and I think that's really cool because I feel like that movie has had nothing said about it in the MCU at all. I mean, maybe that's a good thing, but they're kind of bringing it back and they're explaining certain things. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to hear about that movie again and see all these little details and what the aftermath of that is. So, and you're learning a little bit more too about Hulk in general. So, if you ever give a chance to watch it, I do like it. I think it's really good. Well, not really good, but I think it's good and a fun watch. Which I don't know if you have anything to say about that, Mike.
You're one episode away from when I just quit. I can't I think the writing is absolutely awful. I just can't do it. Like
That's fair.
the stuff that you thought was fun and all that, dude, I couldn't get on board with it. And a lot of people that I talk to about like, oh, you just don't like, the feminist propositions of it. I'm like, I don't care about feminist propositions. I played Horizon. That's a very feminist game, and I loved every second of it. I I don't like things that are written that poorly and that I think do a disservice to character development. And it's, in just my opinion. Again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I don't really think anything less of anybody's singular opinion, but in my opinion, I think it is easily, without even a second of hesitation in my mind, the worst written thing the MCU has to offer. Easily, I don't even think there's anything close. Falcon and the Winter Soldier may not have been fantastic, but I think at least its dialogue and its character writing is leaps and bounds better than She-Hulk. But I guess I should probably finish it before I judge it too heavily. So
Yeah, I do plan on after I finish She-Hulk to actually watch another show that I know both me and you talked so much shit on, and that is Andor. And all I've heard about that show is it's actually really, really good, and supposedly, some of the best writing, other than obviously Mandalorian, that the Disney's made for Star Wars. So that's kind of got me a little excited, and it kind of makes me want to watch it. And the thing is that's sad is supposedly it's really, really good, but no one's watching it because everyone expected it to be horrible. I mean, I don't blame people. You watch Boba Fett, and everybody was, I mean, even myself was really pumped for that show. And it ended up being very disappointing, other than the fact that there was Mandalorian season 2.5 included. That was the good part of that show, which is sad because the whole show was about Boba Fett, and it really wasn't all about Boba Fett. So, uh, but I do want to watch Andor because I have heard a lot of good things about it, and a lot of people I know that are very critical about the Star Wars shows actually end up really liking the show, which is very surprising to me. Because again, I don't like this character. I don't care about him. I think he was my least favorite character the entire Rogue One movie. Um, but supposedly it's really good, and it's got insanely good writing on it. So I will probably watch it after She-Hulk, and then after that, I'll probably force myself to watch Miss Marvel. Anyways, I am not excited for that show at all. I'm even less excited for that show than I ever was for She-Hulk. So I will probably watch it though, because I want to know if she's going to be in the MCU. I want to know her backstory. So, um, other than that, clearly what I've been playing this week is God of War. So, and we will be talking about that very soon on our impressions of what we thought. So,
I
you have
mean,
anything to say, Mike?
no, no, not really. Other than in my opinion, Miss Marvel is night and day better than what I've seen from She-Hulk. It's not even close. But
That's fair, and I'm
I
gonna
guess
watch it.
I had a
So maybe
like.
I'm wrong.
I had a like for the character coming off the game. I don't know anything about her comic origins and all that, but I did enjoy her character in the Avengers game. And I thought she was interesting, so I gave it a better chance, I guess. Where She-Hulk, I guess I kind of I'm not pigeonholed myself, but I put blinders on and I just saw that first trailer and everything that they showed, and I went into it thinking I was gonna dislike it, and I did. So again, maybe I need to give it some space and some time. But there's another part of me, and I've been talking to Peyton with this. I'm like, do I even want Disney Plus, dude? Because it's like I don't fucking care. I don't like what I'm seeing with the two properties that I absolutely adore. I don't like what the MCU is. I don't like what Star Wars is becoming. Whether things
Not
are
even
good.
Mandalorian.
I mean, I like The Mandalorian, but like, if it didn't exist or if it was a movie or something, I feel like that'd be better. Like, I don't know. I'm in a weird place with TV shows, man. I just don't care right now, and that's probably a me problem. Well, I guess it definitely is a me problem, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just becoming an old man, an old jaded ass little fucker that sits in his sofa and plays video games and goes to the gym. Maybe that's who I am. Maybe that's who I'm destined to be. And if it is, cool. I'm okay with it. But
Next
no.
thing you know, you're gonna be that old man that's gonna like going to the movies after reading the book and just complaining the entire time.
Oh no, I'll never do that. I hate people.
That's how Amy is.
I
all the time.
I understand vehemently that adaptations, especially in movie form, there has to be things cut out. Like, there's no way you can include everything from a book. Books have 2 pages worth of inner monologue thought for opening a door. It's like a book or a movie can't have that, and it annoys me a lot when someone's like, "Oh, they didn't add this and this and this, and it was really important because you got to know this character." And I'm like, "Well, did that character at the end of the story mean anything? Because if it didn't, then I don't give a shit." That's like, if it didn't matter, then I don't care. And that's one thing that I always praise the Game of Thrones TV show for, was it eliminated the stuff that at the time when I was saying this, I believed didn't matter for what the ending was going to be. Now we all know that the ending didn't matter for what the ending was going to be. So everything leading up didn't matter, but that's another argument to be had. But that was always why I told people, if you want to experience the Game of Thrones story, the best way to do that is the TV show. If you want to experience everything and know everything about the universe or the world of A Sword of Fire and Ice, then read the books that way. But if you just want to know the gist of it and the story and the characters, then just watch the TV show. Because the books add a whole lot, but it doesn't. The show never took a whole bunch of stuff away. Now, like I said, by the time we got to the end, that's not exactly the most steadfast process to have. But anyway, so I'm ranting. Sorry. Everyone chill out. Although the Aragon adaptation is fucking garbage. That's awful. They didn't include anything for the book. Nothing. So yeah. All right, man. I think we've delayed for long enough. What do you think?
I'm
Oh,
ready.
I was like, oh god, he's gone.
Sorry, I'm eating food. I didn't want to, am
Oh, dude,
I eating on mic?
give me a smack. What are you eating?
It means some good old Mickey D's.
Oh,
So
that's not macro friendly. But
yeah.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pots, also known as Point of the Show. This is where every once in a while a game comes out, a movie comes out, or something happens within the world of video games that we want to give a deep dive in and really focus. And this week, there was obviously one huge game that Logan and I wanted to spend some time talking about. We don't know how long. We'll see how long it lasts. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sonic Frontiers came out this week. I'm just kidding. We'll
Heck
talk about
yeah, man.
we'll talk about Sonic Frontiers in LTR, but not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Although still not as good as it probably should have been. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this week was God of War Ragnarok. Came out on November 9th, 2022. 2. I started playing it on November 10th, 2022, and I feel like I haven't stopped playing it since then. So, officially, to let everyone know out there, I am 29 hours, 14 minutes, and 17 seconds into this video game. I know that because I saved right before I jumped on here. So, Logan, it says 26 hours. Are you still at 26 hours? Have you made a little bit more progress since then?
I believe it was like 26 and something minutes. But I didn't get to play any today or anything. It was all yesterday. So
Okay. Well, from trophy data, I've been checking out your progress and seeing how you've been going on. You're a little bit behind me in the story, but not too far behind me. You've experienced a lot of, well, a lot of cool moments. I can't say anything. By the way, those of you out there, before we dive into this will be 100% spoiler free. I refuse to spoil this game or talk about any aspect of this game without giving the audience a fair warning, if not its own separate episode. So do not fear from me anything. I won't spoil anything outside of maybe what the trailers have shown. We'll talk about some of the things that the trailer have shown. But mostly this impressions is going to be a lot of gameplay, how the writing is, how the characters develop, not giving any specifics or anything like that. Just us telling you what we think overall.
wait, you're not gonna tell him about the Shrek fight? Oh my god.
No, I'm not going to tell them
Dude, it's
about that.
very important. I'm
Yeah,
like, what do you mean?
it is very important. So, but yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is God of War Ragnarok. I don't really know how you want to start this off. I know you have some notes. I didn't really have that many notes. I just kind of wanted to talk off the whim. So, off the whim, let me get something out real quick. And I'll say,
Okay.
off the whim, I want to start out by saying we talked about video games as an art form earlier in this episode. And there is not anything that's ever been created by human hands that is perfect. Never in the history of humanity has anything ever created by human hands been perfect. This game is as close, in my opinion, to video game perfection that I think I've ever played. In all aspects, in every level that I've played, this is as close as video games have ever gotten in my 20... let's say I started playing games when I was 5, because I think that's when it did. So my 26 years of playing video games, this is the closest thing I've ever experienced to a perfect video game. Mr. Birdman.
All right. So by the way, I'm just want to explain how I'm going to do it after this. I was thinking we start with the bad because I have a very small list of bad. Well, meh, bad, and ugly is what I'm going to combine in one. But before I get into that, because I don't want people to think I'm shitting on the game or anything, I want to go with also saying that I really love this game a lot. Like a lot. I've been really, really loving it. Think it's a super amazing game. And in my opinion, so far, I've been enjoying it even more than I ever did 2018. I loved 2018. I loved it. That game blew me away and threw me up. But this game is like double that. Like double that all the way. Even from the beginning and all the way to the point where I am right now, it is double that. Like I have been loving this game. Every minute of it. Obviously it has flaws, but I gotta say, yeah, I agree with you. Which might be kind of spoiling what we're probably going to give the review later on. But I think this is damn close to being a perfect game, in my opinion. And obviously, I think we could probably still say it's perfect, and there always will be flaws no matter what. But this is like up there. It is up there. It's fan-freaking-tastic. I've been loving every minute of it. I mean, I put 26 hours to it nonstop. All I can think about is going back and playing it, and I just want to get closer and closer to beating this game. But I've also been taking my sweet time with this game. I mean, I literally have been so deep into just going and doing all the side stuff, doing all the cool fights that you can do, and it is so freaking good. So, if you're ready, I would like to start with going with some of the bad stuff, just to get it out of the way. Move it out of the way so we can get to the goods, because clearly there's a lot of goods to be talked about.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool.
I figured,
I can bounce off you a little bit. I will have to say we talked very slightly on the old chat of Snap, and I was experiencing some, not really even problems, just kind of like mental issues within myself at the beginning of the game. Obviously, based off my statement, those have all gone away as the game rolled on. But I'll throw out what I was talking about or what I was thinking in detail with that. In my opinion, the beginning of the game, let's just say the first 5 hours, because I don't exactly remember when it turned for me, but I think 5 hours is pretty accurate. Structurally speaking, the game felt a little too similar to what 2018 was. And what I mean by that is, like in 2018 and in Ragnarok, both of these things happened, for me in my experience at least. You start the game, it sets it up, you have like this little walk, you go back to your place, then now there is something different that happens in there, so maybe I'm stepping on myself here, but then an event happens, you go through this little tutorial section, then you get a little fight, then you go back, then you get a real big fight to kind of set the grand stage for the game. Then you go on from that, you explore a little bit, everything maintains kind of tight and linear, then you get to this place, and the game opens up, and then you find this character that deepens your knowledge of what's going on around the world. And then it just felt like, that is very similar to what 2018 was, in terms of structurally speaking, the beginning of this game. And that's why I was like, man, it feels kind of weird. Now at the 6 hour mark, there is an event that takes place, and there's a turn that happens that I fucking did not see coming at all. And now that I'm even more hours in, it's 100% clear to me now that there's a lot still left for me to go ahead and play through. But yeah, I just thought structurally speaking, it was more similar than I thought it was going to be, and I was feeling kind of put off by going through the same thing with a different coat of paint on it that we went through 4.5 years ago. But like I said, that has gone away now, and I'm knee deep into this experience. So I don't know if you felt the same way over there. That's the detailed version of what I was telling you last week. So
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the beginning is very similar to how kind of 2018 was, especially at the very beginning. Um, they did introduce some little things on the way within that 6 hour area, like a little bit of like little new things, a little new combat stuff. Um, but it still felt very similar. But then yeah, I agree, especially in the 6 hour mark, and especially the more and more you started to gather things and all this, like it started to really start to feel completely different in many ways. And yeah, I don't want to ruin anything with that, but it's just like, yeah, I agree with you. But I mean, obviously now where I am and as you are, it is a lot different. And I'll be getting into a lot of the positives on a lot of different things they did add to this game that I've been absolutely loving. Um, but if you're ready, I'm gonna start naming off some little things. Some things we probably won't have a lot to say, but I did kind of just want to get it out there on some things I was, I guess, a little disappointed with. But
take it away.
all right. So I'm gonna start with the medium area, which I call meh, or for the young kids out there, mid. Um, some of the puzzles really bring this game to a crawl, and I gotta say it's not a lot of times this happens, but when it does, it really just slows the game down so freaking much, and it's just like, and then like especially when the characters run out of dialogue, you're just sitting there in silence trying to figure out this puzzle. There's barely any music going on, so you're just sitting there hitting stuff like you're basically banging a nail into a piece of wood, and it's like, dude, like this is just boring, and this is just, and it's not like super bad. It doesn't happen that often. I think it maybe happened 2 times in my playthrough so far that I've really just started to be like, dude, like, can we just get this done and over with? Like this is like really annoying. Like I just want to get and move on. And I know there's accessibility options in the game that you can help that, but I'm not like that. I'm not doing no accessibility stuff. I'm playing the game as is. So that was just a little bit of a meh. It wasn't like bad. and it didn't ruin the game. It didn't make me feel like I didn't like this game anymore. It just kind of really slowed it down a little too much, to the point where it just like it felt like I was just hitting this roadblock and I was just trying to find this stupid little solution to get through this, a door. It's just kind of weird. Um Now I'm gonna get to the bad. And I don't know if you have anything to say about the meh, but again, I'm just saying it was just like two parts so far in the game that I had that, and it wasn't like super bad, but it did slow down the game to a crawl. And it just kind of was like, okay, like, did this really need to be here? Probably not, but whatever. Um,
I mean, I haven't experienced anything like that, but I've always loved the puzzles in God of War games. I mean, that's it. The puzzles have always been a fairly significant portion of the series, even dating back to the PS2 era of the games. So I never felt that. I like puzzles like they give here, where for me, at least in my opinion, it takes a couple minutes maybe for me to figure it out. Um, and I don't know, maybe I'm just better than you, possibly. So, but I haven't ran into anything that, by the way, I'm joking, by the way. You didn't have any sort of reaction to it. So I haven't ran into anything that halts my progress to the point that I'm like fed up with it. There's a
oh,
couple
sorry,
trick.
I was eating.
No,
By the
you're
way, I
good.
wasn't. I wasn't upset about it. I no. I mean, I don't want you to get the idea that I'm saying the puzzles are bad. There are a lot of puzzles that feel very rewarding in this game that I've been doing. That I'm like, okay. Or I've been trying this one thing for like 15 minutes and then ended up looking to the left and seeing a certain something, and I'm like, oh, well, I could have just done that, couldn't I? And I love it. I'm not saying I hate the puzzles. I actually really have been loving a lot of the puzzles. There's just some of them that are like, I like a lot of them that are like side ones, but there are a couple ones like that you have to go down this path, and it was just like tedious, and it was a whole long process instead of just being a short, maybe small puzzle. It ended up being like a 3-4 step puzzle that like held me back from moving forward. And I don't hate those, but I just feel like I was like, okay, throw this here. Okay, pull this back, pull this, throw that there. All right, pull back, do this, throw that there. And I'm like, ugh, like, and again, it only happened 2 times. Like, I only had 2 times where I felt that way. Every other time, I've loved the puzzles. I actually think they're really, really fun. Even if they get frustrating, it's super satisfying when you do complete them. And it's like, okay, this is cool. I got this nice reward for figuring out this puzzle. And some of them are kind of tricky. I mean, I wouldn't say any of them are like insanely hard to a point it took me an hour to figure them out, but I would say that like most of them have been very satisfying and very fun, and they use a lot of the game mechanics very smart, in a very smart way, in my opinion. So,
Oh,
all
and I
right,
think
so
I don't know, steamroll into a positive that I have with the puzzles, because the puzzles for me are overall positive. I don't have anything negative to say about them. But yeah, it's I took a breath and I just hear crunch.
I
Oh, that
forgot
was
I had my mic on.
no,
I'm gonna grab
dude.
a French fry.
That's epic. Oh, that was so good. But no, what I was saying is, as they keep adding on mechanic after mechanic after mechanic, and let me tell you what, this game just keeps fucking adding mechanics endlessly till you're left with this mind-boggling amount of depth within the game itself. But anyway, then the puzzles themselves add on then and use the different mechanics that you've learned, the different let's just say ammunition type, the different things you have at your disposal. It is very hard to talk about some of this stuff, but I just think the game just keeps building and building and building, and the puzzles then integrate themselves, I think, very smoothly. And you're like, oh, I know what to do here because I just learned this thing. And then, you get a puzzle later that's even deeper, and you have to use 3 or 4 different combinations to figure that out. So far for me, I'm loving all that. And I do kind of enjoy when the game takes a breath and relaxes and lets me just kind of walk around and figure this out without having to worry about, okay, if I turn around this corner, am I going to fight something else? Because I love the combat, but I do like the breaks here and there, your 10, 15-minute breaks where you're either just exploring or figuring something out. So big positive for me. But anyway, so hit me with your bad, horrible, whatever.
So bad. I want to start with one. This is very subjective. This is really up to everyone's pleasure and how you feel about this. Haptic feedback is insanely lackluster. Like it's basically not even there. Um, I'm extremely disappointed in it because, like, I don't know, like I feel like even with Horizon, I felt more of something in the controller. But when I'm playing God of War, maybe in cutscene moments you might feel something, but in combat, nothing. Like you get like slight little, ooh, like a little tap to your hand. That's it. Like that's the haptic feedback. You designed this very, like Kratos is a very strong guy, and you're telling me you could put no force or any cool haptic feedback stuff into the controller. I was very disappointed within the first 5 minutes when I like threw the axe for the first time, and I'm like, that's it. I was like, okay, maybe I don't have something on in the settings. So like let me go check. Nope, nothing. It's just that's how it is. It's a very lackluster and boring implementation of the haptic thing, and it's really disappointing because like I think it's really weird that like even the first party developers aren't doing anything with the haptic feedback, it seems like, anymore. Like occasionally, yeah, you got Last of Us that did, and Horizon kind of put a good amount in it, but God of War really did nothing with it. They like straight up just said, nope, this is a PS4 game first and foremost. We'll make this game and make it look really good, but we're going to push that haptic feedback to the side. We don't need that in our game. And again, I know this is very subjective. I think each to your own. If you don't care about haptic feedback, that this isn't going to bother you at all. And it doesn't really bother me. It just sucks. Like I was really excited to play this on the PS5 and was really disappointed within the first 5 minutes to learn that the haptic feedback is basically non existent. It's really not in there at all, other than in cutscene stuff. There is some pretty cool stuff that happens in the cutscenes, but that's it. In gameplay, you'll feel nothing at all. Oh, other than chopping wood. Sorry. When you hit wood stuff, you feel the right trigger.
I was
That's
gonna say,
it. Sorry.
are you talking about
That's
the
it.
haptics or the triggers? Because
The haptics and
in my opinion,
there's
the
like
haptics
nothing in
are fine. It's the adaptive triggers that I was let down by.
well,
Like
that too.
the
Yeah.
controller rumbles every single time you catch the axe. So I don't really know what else you wanted to do, but like I mean, and maybe I'm misremembering or misthinking, but like every time the red arrow pops up, you get a little vibration of what side the controller is that the attack's coming from. Now the adaptive triggers, I'll 100% agree with you. They do fucking jack shit with the adaptive triggers, which
Oh, I know.
I
It's
think is
really
a
weird too. When you
huge
throw,
opportunity because you have
it's
this. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
no, sorry. I was saying like like when you throw the axe, it's also really weird. Like you throw the axe, but when you like let go, it like doesn't vibrate in the right one. It does it on the left one for some reason, which I always thought was kind of weird. But it's this really weird thing. Yeah, I mean, it's just I think maybe it is mostly just the triggers, but still, even I think even in the controller, it's still kind of lackluster. But I think the triggers are very disappointing. Like I don't want them to be super tense or anything, but I thought it'd be cool if like when you throw the axe, you really feel it, like you really feel like you're throwing the axe. Or when you're using, if spoiler alert, if you haven't played 2018, but the Blades of Chaos, uh, like you don't feel anything. Like, and it's just kind of like it kind of sucks, because like I know again, this is a PS4 game first and foremost, and then they made this into a PS5 game, but it's still kind of disappointing because like I don't know, like this is a first party developer. It's not some third party. It's not a cross gen. Heck, even some cross gen games do more with their triggers than what God of War did.
Oh,
So
absolutely, yeah. I
it's
mean,
so like weird. It's just weird.
Horizon does a lot. Returnal is a masterclass in how to use the DualSense. Ratchet and Clank from last year, great
Yes, yeah.
implementation. Yeah, The Last of Us does a good job. Shit, even Call of Duty does a lot with the triggers. Now, a lot of people don't like that because I lose because of the triggers. I'm like, well, fuck off. I don't care.
That's funny.
I like the controller, so fuck off. But yeah, no, this one is a more subdued and let down one, at least on the haptics. On the trigger side, yeah, 100%. There's nothing going on. It's
Yeah.
I don't even know why it's in there when you're cutting, because I'm like, every time it pops up, I'm like, oh, cool. Why isn't this in the rest of the game? It actually makes me
I
mad every
know,
time it
right?
pops up.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
it
so
literally adds like a bunch of tension. It's like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then when you do anything else in the game, like in gameplay, nothing.
yeah,
So
like in this perfect
yeah,
opportunities, like you have charged attacks. So like when you hold down the R2 button to charge up, oh, what's the move called? Oh, it doesn't matter. It's a charged
I know what
attack.
you're talking about. It's like
Uh,
serpent something, I believe. I don't
it's
remember.
something
Yeah.
like that. But and why don't you just have a little bit of pullback? Like as you're charging up, you feel the trigger just shake a little bit or move a little bit or something. Something fucking put, I don't know, something in there. But no,
Or for example, when you're throwing your like blades of chaos like back and everything, why don't you really like feel that in the controller? Like again, so many good ideas that would be super cool for this game. And I think the trigger like thing could have been really cool with a lot of, like the blades of chaos and the Leviathan axe. Like that would have been cool. There's so many good things they could have done with that, and they didn't. And it's just kind of like it's very disappointing because like it's a first party developer, and yet a third party developer, a cross gen developer literally did it better than you. So like just I don't know, it just kind of sucks. And again, it's very subjective. Probably a lot of people don't care about this. Who knows?
oh, a lot of people
But
out there
yeah.
hate all that stuff. They hate the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. Not really in our group. Me, you, DJ, Worthy to an extent. The people I talk to at work, they all love that because they understand that. To me, at least, it deepens your connection with the game that you're playing. But there's a lot of people out there that hate all that stuff. Just turn it off immediately, never have it on. And I'm like, well, it's kind of a waste of a $70 controller, but whatever, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's what I mean. Like you seen the Astro and you had this dream. You had this dream when you seen this. It was showing off all these cool things, and then all these like first party. Well, there's a good of them a good few that actually do use it very well. Like as you said, Returnal and especially Ratchet and Clank. I haven't played Returnal, so I don't really know. But Ratchet and Clank, from what I played, was great. It felt great. Every gun felt different. There was a lot of haptic feedback in the cutscenes and everything. Heck, even Last of Us Part One had a lot of it. Really cool. It felt awesome. It felt like you're playing, this game on PS5. You're getting the PS5 experience. And then you play God of War and you get the PS4 experience just a lot better. That's it. You just don't get like any of the controller stuff. So,
Yeah, overall
um,
disappointed. Let's move on a little bit. I
yeah.
do have one. I do have one big negative, and it's not even really anything with the game. It's just a lack of a feature that I wish was there. Um, I wish photo mode was at launch because
Oh,
there's
dude, yes.
there's
I totally agree with you.
so many times. I mean, I have a bunch of just screenshots that I've kind of framed up within the game the best I can. But dude, my playtime would be so much. Well, it probably wouldn't be any higher because I've played it almost as much as I possibly can in this first week. But my progress would be a lot less because I would have spent at least a minimum of 1 to 2 hours in photo mode taking pictures of some of this stuff. So not actually really a negative with the game, just a disappointment that the feature is not there. And they say they're bringing it in later, which is great for the people that don't play this game at launch, but the people who play this game at launch that go through these worlds for the first time, and the first time you see something, you're like, oh my god, that is awe-inspiring, because there was a lot of moments in this game for me personally that are just eye-wateringly beautiful, and I want to commemorate that in a very cool picture that I can have on my console forever. And I don't get that, but
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I felt that same way. I was scrambling around looking. I'm like, where's photo mode? Like, where is it? Where is it? And then I looked it up, and then it said it wasn't there at launch. I'm like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. Because yeah, there. I guess I'll connect that to one of my positives is that every location you go to, at least a good portion of them, are insanely beautiful with a stupid amount of detail. And it's just insane, especially a certain section of the game. Wow, that's all I gotta say. It's just you get to this one location, and I was just mesmerized. I was blown away. I'm like, this is a PS4 game. Like, it's pretty dang impressive. So, but yeah, I totally agree with that. It does kind of suck. It's not really a bad. But it does suck because I do really wish I could take. I even have been doing the same thing. I've been taking screenshots, but I can't take what I want. Like it'd be so cool to have like poses or just even the fact that I could do a landscape shot of some of these places. They're so cool. Okay, so to move on real quick, I have 2 bugs that I had happen to me in these 26 hours of playing. One of them is really funny, and one of them kind of sucks. So at the very beginning of the game, and I'm not going to explain who, but the mouths were just like not syncing properly. Like the mouth would be like moving, but like the words would be way off, and it wasn't like I don't really know how to explain it better than that without ruining anything. But there was a character that was talking to Kratos, and it just wasn't working. Like the mouth was like doing something other than what she was saying, and it just looked really awkward. It's a very light bug. It doesn't happen a lot in the game, but I have noticed it a few times, especially in the non-cutscene parts when you're like walking around with specific people. You'll notice that like sometimes their mouths would just not sync properly to what they're saying, and I just think it's very awkward. It's just weird. But I do have a very funny bug I ran into. Dude, this bug cracked me up. Like I was dying. So there was a weird glitch with Atreus where every time like he got on this loop for some reason where he kept saying there is a gap in that fence over there. There's a gap in the fence over there. And he literally would not stop saying that. And it would literally be in a cutscene, which by the way, shows the beauty of why I love in-game cutscenes. Because literally, even in the middle of a cutscene, a serious moment where everybody was talking, he just says, there's a gap in the fence over there. There's a gap in the fence over there. And I'm
that's great.
Dude, I was dying. I actually recorded it, which I'll have to send it to you at some point. But it was cracking me up. Like it was like on like a every like what, maybe 4 minutes he would say it, and it was just so funny because it was like in the middle of a very serious cutscene, and he was still saying it, and I was just dying. But that's like the 2 bugs that I've actually noticed. So, which is very impressive. That's the only bugs I've ran into so far.
Yeah, the only bug I ran into is there was like twice where Atreus like scooted into place instead of running. He like floated across the ground. Hey, well, you know what? Maybe that's some of his godly abilities. I don't know.
Yeah, but, maybe.
Yeah. And then there's been a couple of times where I'll like walk up to something and I'm like exploring, and then my character will like go into that slow walk phase that like usually indicates there's some sort of cutscene coming up. But for some reason they just stop for like 10 seconds, and I'm like, what? And then it'll just randomly like stop, and I can't move, and then I'll move again. That's only happened a couple times, but yeah, this game is essentially bug free. Like there's nothing that ever broke for me or anything like that, which I don't know why that's a positive, but it is a positive in 2022. There's nothing broken about this game in any respect, on my end at least, from the things.
All right, and then I'm gonna get to my last negative.
Yeah, hurry up.
This one's
we've been talking negatives for like 20 minutes, man.
I know. I just wanted to get through these real quick. Well, I just want to get it out there because this game isn't all positives. This is by far my worst negative, and this one I do find very frustrating and annoying, but I think it's also, well, it's actually not correlated with what I thought it was originally, and a lot of people thought it was. Too many shimmy through crack moments. Every 10 minutes, I feel like in this game, there's another crack you gotta shimmy through. Oh, hey, look, there's a crack. Gotta get through there. And a lot of people thought that was because of loading, because of PS4. Well, it's not. It's just because the developers developed it so that they could put you in these boxed areas. And I hate them. I really hate them, dude. They are so dumb. After doing it like the 50s, probably 100th time I've done it now, it's like, dude, could you not have made anything else, designed anything else other than shimming through another crack? Like, I've never seen so many shimming through crack moments. It was insane. Like, I'm like, okay, gotta go to this location. Let me shimmy through 3 different wall areas, and then finally I get to the location. Like, it's so dumb. I don't like it at all. I think it's a very bad design decision, in my opinion, especially with how long this game is, and also with it already being in 2018. I thought they heard the feedback. Instead, they doubled down, and they made sure to put as many shimmy and crack moments as possible in this game. and it makes it really tedious because like going back and forth, like, oh, I forgot a puzzle back there. Let me shimmy through these 3 walls again. Oh, gotta get back to the main thing. Shimmy through 3 more walls again. It's like, really, like it slows things down so much, and it's not fun. It loses its every bit of excitement of it after, like, I mean, it's not even exciting in general, but like it starts to just become tedious and very frustrating, and it just slows down the game just to slow down the game, just so they can hit their design points with these squared off areas. I don't like them at all. You could have a few of them in the game. I understand why they're there sometimes, but like when it's literally every 10 minutes, I feel like in this game, I'm shimming through a different wall. It's so just dumb. Dumb. It's just like, why? I don't know. But that's my last negative, and it's a big one for me, in my opinion. It's just very frustrating. It's like the Uncharted 4 thing where you have to grab a crate and move it over here. Oh, hey, by the way, you're gonna need another crate to get through this wall again. But that made sense. That was because of loading. When I learned that this wasn't even for loading, like if they would have said nothing, I'd be like, okay, maybe it's because of loading. It's not. The developers themselves even said it's not because of loading. So they purposely designed these crack things for no reason other than to block you off in these square areas, and I think it's really bad and really dumb. So I just want to get that out there. That's the last negative I have.
No, I hear you. And while I think it is, by 2022 standards, a fairly outdated design decision or practice, I guess is a better term. It's definitely, of a different era. I don't really mind them too much because I feel like the game does a decent job of when you're doing them, the characters are talking to each other and you're getting some interactions or some deeper knowledge about what's going on. It's they use those shimmy or duck moments as a way for the characters to talk about what's happening around them in the game, or talk about some of the problems, or reveal some interesting dialogue between the two, or solve a problem, like when Kratos and whoa, I almost pulled a DJ
Hey there,
on that
hey,
one.
calm down now.
I
Don't
almost
need to
pulled
put that DJ stamp on you right now. Come on.
I was like saying the name, and I was like, wait, what the fuck am I doing? When Kratos and somebody else are going through certain things, they talk through a lot of things. And that's all I'll say.
I will agree with you on that. I agree with you that is one reason why I can get past these walls. And even though I've said all these negatives, I don't think they're enough to make me be like down on this game. But I do want to get them out of the way and explain them. But I agree with you. It does help that does help a lot to get through those moments, because then you have those cool conversations with very interesting things that they talk about. It's not just like whatever stuff. Like, it's very interesting and important and lore friendly stuff that they talk about, and I like that a lot. But I know the most exciting part. Let's get to the positives, Mike. We can move away from negatives for good.
That's good, because we talked a little longer than I probably would have wanted to about, but I had some counter positives.
I wanted to hear your opinion. I just wanted to say my bad.
Yeah, I think the biggest. Right. Sorry, go ahead.
Go on.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I'm just saying, I've been really trying hard to write down stuff on my notes if I notice something. Even some of my favorite quotes, which I will be in our actual review, probably giving a few of those out there. But yeah, I've been trying to keep up with that, put a little bullet points and try to hit it, because I didn't want to just have positive to hit some negatives too. Yeah. So, but I'm excited to get to the positive. So let's get into it. I know I've been holding up a lot of time.
No, you're good. I will talk about the shortest positive that I can give, just because with the context of what we're doing here, I can't talk too heavily about it. This is easily one of the most immaculately written, conceived, and executed narratives I've ever experienced in a video game. Everything in here, every line of dialogue that's written, I myself, who writes some dialogue and has a decent amount of craft in the writing experience or whatever, I don't know how I would make anything better. And honestly, I think mine would be way worse, honestly. So I think the talent on display in the writing, narrative, character development, story, everything, endlessly speaking, is expertly made and put together in such a way that I don't know how it gets better. I don't know who out there can do this story any better or could do this story. Well, maybe not just this story, just any story in general. The way they weave together past events in the original trilogy, the events that transpired in God of War 2018, and even for those of you that know some of the Norse mythology out there, if you've been listening to the show, you know that going into this game, I picked up some of them books and I started reading some of the mythologies. They use that in such a brilliant way to trick you in a to trick the people in a way, and trick's a bad word, but like to I can't think of the word I'm trying to say. There we go. They subvert your expectations of what's happening based on your knowledge of the mythology and the lore that it exists in the real world, or in the modern world. And I am simply at awe of what they've been able to accomplish so far in my 20, almost 30 hours played of this game. I just And there's so many things that happen that just come from left field that I never anticipated going into this game. And just the way that they've built everything from what happened in 2018 to what's happening in this game, and how the characters are dealing with certain events that transpire. It's masterful. That's all I can say. There's very few things, if anything, that I can point to that is on the same level, and I don't think there's anything that's above it. I think maybe that can throw out a few games that are on the same level in terms of writing and quality and narrative. Red Dead Redemption, the 40 hours I played to it, I never beat it, but from what I played with that's fucking expertly written as well. Some of the Naughty Dog games, mostly, the original Last of Us and probably Uncharted 4, I would put up there with it. But again, there's a very small list of things that I think are on the same level, and I don't really think there's anything that's you can clearly rank above this in terms of writing and story development and character development and all those things. So that's the shortest explanation I can get without getting into details. So
Okay. Well, obviously, I mostly agree with all that, but I got some technical positives to get out of the way real quick, and there's not going to be a lot to say about it, but I just wanted to get it out there. Um, if you watch this game online, by the way, a lot of people might say like, "Oh, it looks a lot like God of War 2018." When you finally do get to play the game, it's like, what's the best way to describe this? So, like, I watched Digital Foundry do a thing on this, a whole video on
well,
it,
okay, so
and
I
they
got a
explained
perfect
it
example.
very.
I got a perfect personal example for you. It's like when we were talking about Horizon and you had only seen YouTube videos and things, and then you played Horizon Forbidden West for the first time. You're like, oh shit, okay. It's a perfect analog, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think so. I guess with Digital Foundry, when I watched the video, they brought up a very good point, in my opinion, of what Ragnarok is on PS5. Ragnarok is basically on PS5 what 2018 PC version of the PS4 game is. It is a basically they went balls to the walls, maxed out every single thing on this game when you're playing on PS5, and you could tell by the fact that the detail in this game is mind blowing. I mean, I don't think I've played a game with as much detail and especially in texture quality as this game. Like I'm like literally like mind blown some of these cuts. I'm mind blown at some of these cutscenes because it's like, dude, you can literally see every little freckle, every little minuscule design on Kratos and all that and during all these cutscenes and even in gameplay, it looks so good. Even some of these environments, and it's also due to the fact that they updated their how they upscale their resolution and all that. Instead of using the garbage checkerboard rendering that just wasn't really that good. Like 2018 looked good, but when you play this game, you can notice a huge difference, and it's because they use a new TAA upscaling method. which is a much more cleaner and less shimmery look to the game like 2018 had, especially when you're in combat and you're moving a lot in 2018. There's a lot of shimmering going on. That's due to the checkerboard rendering that they used to have. Now they use TGA, and it's a much cleaner and just more beautiful looking design. Like when I play this game, I could tell instantly. I don't even have to go back to 2018 to tell the difference. It is insane. I mean, it also is due to the expertly designed artistry that they put into this game. Like these environments are literally breathtaking, even for literally the fact that this is a PS4 game at heart. And by the way, you can even play this game on PS4 and PS4 Pro, and you're still going to get this insanely beautiful game, and it still looks insane on there, even on a PS4. Literally, that's insane. I also want to shout out to the new, and I know for a lot of people that don't care about this, but they did improve also visuals when it comes to the water and everything and puddles and everything. They added a new SSR method to do a lot more, like especially in like a lot more shiny floors, and with some of the dwarves armor has a very shiny look now. It just looks so much more clean. There's a lot more reflections, and people will probably think it's ray tracing. It's not ray tracing. Sorry, people. It would be cool to see ray tracing, but they are using SSR, and it looks insane. It looks super good. Just sitting there and looking at some of these environments is insane. But I don't know if you have anything to say on that, but I do have another quick point I want to get in there real quick because I know we're cutting down on time. I gotta say for this game too, another reason why I love this game even more than 2018 is the enemy variety is balls to the wall. I mean, dude, they literally they heard what we said. They're like, all right, everybody trolls, more trolls. Well, they heard that and they really put out an insane amount of enemy types in this game. I'm still finding new enemy types at the 26-hour mark, and it is awesome. And I'm loving every minute of it. And especially some of the side bosses, like in the other game, there's way more variety, and they're all really exciting to fight. And it kind of gives me that Elden Ring vibe again, where literally some of these fights are super challenging and it's super cool. And they all have like kind of phases too. Dude, I am loving it, dude, especially every time I get into a fight in this game. It's just so hype. Like I'm all in. It's so good.
Yeah,
Even if I die a lot, it is just so good. It's so much fun, and it's so satisfying when you finally do beat a boss. It is so much fun. Yesterday, I beat probably the hardest boss I've ever played in the entire game. I died like 5 times to this dude, but it was the coolest fight of all time, and it was just so fun. And when I finally beat him, it was insanely satisfying. And the gear and the loot you get from killing these bosses is awesome. It is so freaking good. Like I am unbelievably impressed with how much enemies they have in this game. Yes, some are reused, but it's the same as Elden Ring. Elden Ring does reuse some bosses too and some enemies. But again, I'm still finding more enemies the more I play this game, and it's just so cool and so fun to fight each and every enemy that is in this game, and the gameplay too, just so good. I don't want to get too much into it because I know we saved some of it for the review, but I do just want to say in general, gameplay is amazing. They added a lot of new stuff to this game. They really evolved the formula and really just hit the mark, and they actually made what already was very good in 2018 so much better. And I'm loving every minute of it. It's super good. And then I also want to throw another thing in. This isn't going to ruin any story moments, but I just want to say I love some of the callbacks they're doing in this game, especially from some of the older God of Wars, even the smaller ones. Not going to say much more, but I'm loving that, especially with the fact that I played some of these games. So it's really cool seeing some of these callbacks. Other than that, I think I'm going to end it there because it's just our impressions. I know I have a long list of stuff to say, but I'm going to wait till the review, and I'll have a more in-depth thing to write out and say when that happens.
yeah, I'll jump in real quick and kind of give my opinions on everything you talked about. Won't try to repeat or mirror much of what you said, but yeah, visually speaking, I mean, everyone knew it going in. The game looks absolutely incredible. Is it the Horizon to is it the Zero Dawn to Forbidden West leap? I don't think it reaches that. I think Forbidden West is a significant improvement on what Zero Dawn was, especially in terms of like character animation, um, and character visuals, and um, as well. But that doesn't really matter. The game is absolutely stunning in so many areas. It doesn't matter if it's a good enough leap to justify 4 years of development. Like, who the fuck cares that much about that? Like, this game is absolutely stunning in almost every aspect of it. The only thing I will say, um, in a comparison to Horizon, is the animations don't always feel as smooth. Some of the climbing animations, when you're kind of jumping around, parkouring per se, it feels a little hitchy and rigidity, especially when like you jump down. It feels like there's like a split second to where like it doesn't look all incredibly amazing, and I feel like that only really stands out to me because everything else is immaculate. Um, yeah, let's see. As visuals, the combat. Yeah, the combat is the combat's mind-boggling, man. They added so much, and they were talking before the game came out. This ideology of play with your food, and they wanted to give you enough tools that you could do whatever you wanted. And I will say the first couple hours, it took me a while to get back in the groove of this kind of combat, because I will say the button mapping is, while it's not bad in anything at all, it's actually pretty intuitive and all that. It's just so much different than any other game I've ever played. It took me a couple hours to really get back in the groove of controlling everything. Like, I'm sorry, X's should be jump. Like, X is jump in every single video game ever, and in this game, it's dodge roll.
Oh, you
So,
can change it, by the way.
oh, I know you can,
Okay.
but I'm
Okay,
normally
I did
not.
that immediately. I
Oh
was
yeah,
done with that
I'm not
immediately.
a button remapper type of guy. I very much am
What?
of the belief that the buttons are mapped in a
I
way
was
that that's how the developers built the game and envision you playing the game. So now I know that's not a true statement. You can play
I
however
was
you
gonna
want and get
say,
used to it. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
really want to go that in depth into remapping. There's literally just a toggle, literally blatantly in the settings thing that literally says change X to circle. Like, it literally is even in the remapping thing. Like, they know people want that, and the fact that it's literally its own toggle to turn on and off is pretty funny, actually. Because like, I'm used to Elden Ring with O being the dodge, and so when I started and I had to press X to dodge, I'm like, okay, this is bothering me way too much. So I switched that one thing. I didn't remap anything else, just that, and it made this game feel so much better in my opinion. Because I can't dodge with X. It just seems so weird. I have to move my hand all the way down there just to dodge. It's weird.
I will
But
say, Peyton took a Snapchat of me randomly when I was playing. I forgot who I was fighting, but I was fighting a difficult enemy, and it's funny. Your fingers work a lot when you play this game, man. You
oh
are
yeah.
you are hitting a lot of buttons, and there's a lot of things to pay attention to. The axe recall, throwing the axe, switching to a different weapon, putting a combo in mid juggle, switching to something else to further that juggle. There's a lot of button presses that this game demands you to do to really play it well, or even play it smoothly or significantly. But yeah, I'm at the point now where I've unlocked a lot of stuff, and I'm getting to the point now where I can play with the combat and I can have fun and do what I believe the developers really wanted you to do, with is that mantra of play with your food and enjoy it. Especially when I'm like down to like one enemy in an encounter, I mess with that fucker so bad. I do so many things that I test out certain abilities, and I'm like, let me see how much I can juggle, or like I juggle them up and just continually slam them into the ground over and over and over again. It's like
Dude, yes,
I
with
have.
the Blades of Chaos, dude, when you do that, when you grab someone and then you grab them again, it throws them to the ground. It's so cool. I
Yeah.
love that so
I,
much.
I think what they've done with this combat system is something to just give a kind of a standing ovation to. It's so deep, and it's balanced enough that you don't have to do any of it. If you get decent at dodging and all that, you can hit R1, R1, R1 3 times, and you'll eventually get through the fight. But it's built in a way, and it's put together in such a way that if you do more, you'll get more out of it. The more you
Oh yeah.
experiment and the more you deal with certain these weapons, the more you learn the ins and outs of uh the weapons. Almost, goddamn it, almost DJ'd it again.
Dude, it's so hard not
Yeah.
to, but I
The
know.
more you delve into everything that the game has to offer to you, um, is masterful. And also, I don't know if you really dawned on you or not. The game rewards you as well, um, by doing all these different combos and doing all these
Oh yeah.
different things. You get to upgrade the actual ability and customize the ability to a better way of how you want to play by like these rune sets or whatever the game calls them, the augments. Sorry, yeah, you can augment each ability once you've performed that ability a certain number of times, which I think is really cool. And I'm to the point now where I'm not doing every single combat encounter in the best way. I'm using certain abilities that I'm like, okay, well, let me use this combat encounter to level up this ability or get 5 of this certain move done, so maybe I can slot it something in. So, but yeah, overall, so far 29 hours, 14 minutes, 17 seconds into the game. This is a masterclass of a video game. I didn't I didn't think there wasn't going to be. Like I was fairly confident that this was going to hit. There is a part of me though that did not expect this game to be what it is in terms of story and characters and just the size of the game and the scope of it all. Like, I'm getting 29 hours in, and while I think I'm on the downtrend of the story, it feels like I'm on the downtrend of the story. I still feel like I have another 10 or so hours left to go, and I just can't wait to experience the rest of this game and to sit down with you and everybody else out there and talk to you guys about why, in my opinion, so far, I mean, spoiler alert, this is one of my favorite games I've ever played. And I think it's easily one of the best games ever made.
That's fair. I agree with that.
So, spoiler alert, if everything keeps going the way it is based off our rule set for how we do top 10 games, unfortunately, my number one will get booted just by the nature of it's in the same franchise as what seems to be my next number one. Who knows? Maybe something happens in the story and I don't like what happens and it all kind of falls apart, but I don't foresee that happening at all. So, all right, we have talked for almost an hour about God of War. That is essentially a review in itself without saying anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, stick with us here on the Experience Point. Hang on. Logan and I are going to get through this as best we can and then present to you all a review. The review will probably go very short, overall opinions, put a score on it, everything like that, and then we'll probably roll into a spoiler cast so we can actually talk about some of the things that happen in this game and some of the things we love and why we love the story and these characters. So that's how I envision that going. So this is more of everything about the game, what we thought, and the review will probably be more narrative focused. At least in my eyes, it will be so. All right. Final thoughts. What do you got?
Just very excited to get there and beat it, but I'm also just gonna be sad when I finally beat it. So I don't know what to think. I've been loving it, and I mean I'm 26 hours in, and supposedly I'm behind you, and I mean that's because I've been literally just so ingrained with the world and just exploring and collecting and fighting and just doing. By the way, also shout out the side missions of this game, 100% worth playing. Definitely should play them if you get this game.
Oh,
Also,
they don't even feel like
highly,
side quest.
yeah, they don't, and they're
There's
so damn
there's a
good.
couple that reuse the whole like spectral thing that they did in the first game for almost all
Oh
of it.
yes, yeah,
But
yeah.
there's a lot of the character focused side quests that don't feel like they just feel like they should be a part of the main story because they resolve, well not really resolve, they deepen the characters. And that's
Yes,
all I
I
can say.
totally
So,
agree with you on that. Yeah. But yeah, also just obviously probably me and Mike agree with this. Highly recommend this game,
oh,
even at full price.
it's
Go
the
get
easiest
it.
game.
If
Even
you
at
had the money, go
you know
get
what?
it.
Fuck it. I'll go as far as I recommend this game at $250 because that's the price I paid for the collector's edition.
Yeah.
Which, by the
I
way,
spent 80 I spent $80 on it and I still very happy with it. Very happy I spent that money.
before we leave, I just remembered one thing that is a huge negative in my book. Can we fucking get some more shoulder-focused armor? I only have 2 pieces. I'm still wearing the same armor that I got in the beginning of the game because I don't want to put on a full suit. It's dumb. I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm still using not the one you start off with, the one that they give you when you go on your adventure. I'm still wearing it because I haven't
Really?
found anything else that looks as good on me. I want shoulder-focused armor, please. It's a game. It's clearly the way the character was designed to look because that's his starting look. I don't want to put a full suit on, all right? I'm not Batman.
Also, bring back the fur. Hashtag bring back the fur.
Oh, God, we're going to
It
start a
needs to
fucking
happen,
Twitter
dude.
trend. All right, ladies and
What?
gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we're going to say about God of War Ragnarok. Yeah, it's the easiest recommendation I think I've ever made. Probably, for Logan, it's just as easy to recommend this as it is Ragnarok. Sorry, Elden Ring. They're the easiest recommendations of all time, and the only way I think that you wouldn't enjoy something like this is if you just don't like single player games. If they're just not your thing, then you probably won't like this. But outside of that, if you love video games, if you have any sort of appreciation for the industry and the artistry behind them, this is one of the most perfect representations of that artistry that I can come up with in recent memory. So, all right. We're going to go on now to Around the Point, where we at the Experience Point go around the video game world and give you the news that you need to know about. Number 1 on Around the Point. Earlier this week, the Game Awards have revealed their nominations for this year's Game of the Year award and all the other categories. Logan and I are going to go through real quick. I'll let you know what they are. I'm sure you guys know out there, but I'll still read them anyway. And we're going to quickly kind of give who we think is going to win and whether we deserve, whether we think that game deserves to win or not, or there's something different that doesn't deserve to win. So we'll save Game of the Year for the last. So the nominees for the best game direction are Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray. So I'm sure all of you out there that think I'm going to say God of War Ragnarok should win this. It probably will. It might. I don't know. All these are going to be down to God of War or Elden Ring, honestly. But I feel like the game that deserves it the most is Immortality, especially for game direction. When you look at what the award means, it says awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. I don't think there's anything on this list that is as innovative or as unique as Immortality. A game that I haven't actually played, but I know of it. I've watched videos and all this. I think Logan actually has checked it out, so he would know it a little bit better than me. But even me knowing I haven't played that, know that game is something special and something different. While all these games are great, if not even amazing, I think when you talk about what the award is trying to represent, it should be something like Immortality that comes and does something different and is directed in an immaculate way. What do you think?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what Immorality is.
Thought you
So
played it, isn't it? It's that card-based horror game. You told me to play it.
that's not Immorality.
Is it not?
You're thinking of Inscription.
Oh shit!
Inscription is a very beautiful and awesome freaking indie game, which I don't know. I don't think that even made it on here. I don't know. I can't remember if that came out this year or not, but honestly, it should have been
Oh
on the list
fuck!
because it was amazing.
Immorality is that interactive movie game that was made by like that one guy. Okay, never mind. I take everything back. What I said.
Yeah, I was
God of War.
like, wait. I was like,
God,
what are you talking about?
God of War Ragnarok should win this, or Elden Ring. I think either one again deserves to win it. So
I think both do honestly the same. They both have a very impressive and just outstanding art direction and design. So honestly, I wouldn't care whoever wins this one. Both of them are equal. They both do some very mind blowing stuff. But I mean, obviously, I already know my choices. So I would definitely probably say Elden Ring because of the sheer just aspect of how much variety and just and like I mean I know God of War has a lot of variety. Elden Ring has like double that. So, but that's up to people, and I think that's a very subjective thing. And I think both of them are very, very good on the fact that they both have insanely good design and just beautifully artistic, like designed worlds and well realms, if you want to call it God of War. So yeah.
All right, the nominees for Best Narrative are Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immorality. I'm not going to talk about Immorality anymore because I don't know what the fuck it is. My bad on that, but yeah, this one's for me personally easily God of War
Oh no, it's God of War.
Ragnarok. Yeah, like I was very confused when Elden Ring showed up in this category. Like, look, I know Elden Ring is an incredible video game. I also am very aware that narratively speaking, I don't see how that fits in with the rest of what this is.
From what I've been seeing is with Elden Ring, if you take the time to read the lore and really, because it's a very indirect way of telling a story. You know, it's not like God of War, where it's like in your face, like it's telling a story. That is the point of the game. But Elden Ring is more about like it has a story as a basis for the game, and then there's the goal, you know. And but I heard though, if you actually took the time to read the lore and everything, it does have an insanely impressive and very interesting story to be told with narrative and characters and all that. And all the characters you meet throughout the game have very interesting stories to them and everything. But I think God of War deserves a little bit more because obviously it is mainly a storytelling game compared to Elden Ring, where the story is kind of on a back burner. Like it's an insanely impressive, very well written story. I mean, George R. R. Martin was the one that helped with writing what the world was and the stories of these characters. So if you like George R. R. Martin, you're probably gonna like the stories because, well, that's kind of who wrote them. But obviously, I agree with you. God of War Ragnarok wins because I think, in my opinion, well, I think should win because literally its main goal is the story and what it's telling, and it's not putting it on the back burner. It's not here's this goal, go do these things, kill people, and then we'll have these little books around telling you the story of why you're doing it or these characters. Like you still get that in God of War, but the main thing is it's telling you a story and it's telling you these characters' stories while playing. So I agree with you.
All right.
Sorry, I got
No,
way too
no, you're
deep in
good,
that.
man. I don't care. All right. Best art direction. The nominees are Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray. So who I think is going to win? Probably God of War Ragnarok. I would say that from what I've seen, Elden Ring might deserve it just based off art direction, because I think that game is visually stunning, uh, in how everything's designed. Not exactly we're not talking about resolution here. If we're talking about resolution, then it's God of War. It's probably even for Horizon if we're talking about resolution. But we're talking about how the actual world is designed, and while we just spent a lot of time talking about how amazing God of War looks visually speaking and artistically speaking, I think Elden Ring probably would take it up a level per se. Now, me personally, I think God of War, but I've also never really played Elden Ring. But so yeah,
I also think Scorn is a pretty good contender. I know a lot of people don't like Scorn. I mean, I would never play Scorn because it's basically just a puzzle game that acted like it was going to be a shooter, and every single person was confused by it. It doesn't seem like it's a small amount of people that were confused about that. But you gotta give them props. Scorn did a damn freaking fine job with their artistry and how they designed the game. It was very interesting and unique and just like kind of gruesome in a very beautiful way. It's very weird, and I'm never gonna play it, but I've seen all the screenshots and seen some of the stuff, and it definitely deserves to be in there in some way or form. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Elden Ring should win, and it's because honestly, Elden Ring just again has so much variety and so much of a world to it. And though every single place that you see and all these different places you go to, they take that like you're basically always in this painting. You're in this picture that they are painting to you, and you see it, and it just looks so damn good. And yes, it's not like Horizon Forbidden West with like graphics and everything, but it's all about the art. And Elden Ring really nails it. And I think God of War is very good, and it's definitely up there. But I think Elden Ring really just takes it up a notch. And I do think Elden Ring should win this one for sure.
totally agree. So the nominees for best score slash music for outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack, we have Oliver Derivi for Plague Tale Requiem, I'm gonna butcher all this. Tsukasa Satori with Elden Ring, a Bear McCree for God of War Ragnarok, 2 feathers for Metal Hellslinger, and somebody who did something for a game that for some reason this article doesn't write down, so
Yeah, that's weird.
we'll exclude them. But Yasunori Matatsu, if those of you out there, let me know what he did. But for the 4 that we have here, again, I think it's Elden Ring. God of War Ragnarok is incredible. The score is absolutely amazing, but it is taken from 2018. Now, there are some new ones, especially the Ragnarok theme itself, and especially Atreus' theme. Those are new to this game, and again, I think they're incredible, but the core of the soundtrack is riffing and evolving what 2018 was, where Elden Rings is wholly original and wholly brand new. So I think Elden Ring will win this one, and I think it probably deserves it. So
Yeah, but to say I agree with that. Especially that freaking menu theme song. Oh, dude, every time. So freaking hype.
all right. Best audio design, the nominees are Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West. And this one, for me, it's a landslide. God of War Ragnarok, especially with the headset that I'm playing it on. I'm using my really, really, really nice one, by the way. The audio design in this game is it's mind-boggling. I'm hearing shit everywhere. Now, again, that may be my headset, but the headset can only reproduce what's in the game. So for me, this is a landslide. God of War Ragnarok's audio design is ridiculous. The impact of the weapon, the setting of the world, the creatures in it, the noises that everything makes, the audio feedback you get in combat to help you out with where people are coming from and everything. It just, again, it's masterful work. So for me, landslide, God of War on this one. And I don't really know too much about how Elden Ring's audio design is because I've never played the game, but it's probably deserving as well. So
Yeah, this is a hard one. I really don't know. I'm very indifferent about both of them. I think Elden Ring does some very impressive stuff with especially how they use their soundtrack and their boss fights and how they sync them together. I think that's very impressive and very cool. And especially with a lot of the enemy types and the way that they design the audio and how you can kind of get, ideas and warnings when listening and everything. And I think it plays very well. But also God of War has that same thing where I've been playing it on my headset pretty much constantly, and the 3D audio design is very impressive as always. And it definitely just sounds very good, and I love the way it's designed. And I think in combat it's very helpful, and cutscenes it's awesome hearing all these different sounds around you. It's very impressive, especially like sometimes it kind of freaked me out because I thought someone was right next to me and ended up being just the game. Um, but yeah, I don't really know. I'm very indifferent on this one. I think both of them are very equal on that, and I think both of them have a very impressive, very well designed audio. Heck, I would even probably say Horizon Forbidden West is up there too with the way they design their audio too.
oh, absolutely.
Call of Duty's Call of Duty, so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it really deserves the best audio, but it's very good. But
Yeah,
I
the
think
guns sound really good. I mean,
guns
yeah,
sound good. Footsteps sound good. I understand where footsteps are.
yeah,
And I guess that is impressive, but I don't know.
yeah. I can't
But yeah,
really
very good.
remember a Call of Duty game sounding bad. I don't know. I'm
That's
not
fair.
I'm not a huge I'm not as big of a fan as other people out there, so I'm sure they'll be like, oh well, in fucking Vanguard, this one SMG sounded unrealistic. But I'm not that guy, so alright. Second to last thing that we're gonna go over here. Best performance. Obviously awarded to an individual for voice acting, motion capture, or performance capture. Ashley Birch for Horizon Forbidden West, Charlotte McBurney for A Plague Tale Requiem, Christopher Judge for God of War Ragnarok, he's the guy that plays Kratos, Manon Gage for Immorality, and Sonny Sulich for God of War Ragnarok, he is who plays Atreus. And for me, I love Ashley Birch. I love the way what she does with Aloy and the very reserved way that she plays Aloy and very self-contained. But this is a battle between God of War. This is a battle between Christopher Judge and Sonny Sulik. And in my eyes, Christopher Judge should take this one. What he does with the character of Kratos, from the little nuances that he brings to the character itself. His little smirks sometimes. So yeah, sorry, spoiler alert. Kratos smiles a couple times in this game. Crazy, I know, but how he performs this character and the development of this character and what he brings to it, I think deserves recognition.
Yeah, I agree with you. There is a certain other person though that a lot of people actually really wanted to be in this list from God of War that I agree with too. This isn't a spoiler because you've seen it in the trailers, but Freya definitely should have been on this too, in my opinion. I
Yeah, but I
think
think at a point,
she.
you can't put three people from the same game.
I
It's
know,
like
but
it's like all right at that point, just all the people in God of War who wins,
well, I kind of hope if Christopher Judge does win, or Judge, or God, I can't say Christopher Judge wins. I kind of hope he could bring all of them up there because I think they all equally very much deserve this reward for best performance. I think they all are at their best in this game. And yes, please do it. But I'm ready to move on to the next one. I don't want to ruin anything. I'm trying to keep
No,
my
no, you're
mouth
good. You're
shut
good. All
about
right. So the
spoilers. So
nominees for Game of the Year, obviously, this recognizes a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. The nominees for this year's Game of the Year award go as followed: A Plague Tale: Requiem. That's an odd inclusion. Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, shout out to you, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3, representing Nintendo. And I mean, we all know what this is. We knew it in January what this was going to be. This is a battle between Elden Ring and God of War. And while they're two very different games, I think even though I haven't played Elden Ring, I'm very aware of what it is and how good it was and what it means to the industry and the genre as a whole. Um, I think it's a toss up. I'm not going to be mad if Elden Ring wins. I'll be disappointed a little bit because I love God of War Ragnarok. And of course, I want something that I love to be recognized. But like, Elden Ring deserves it 10 times. God of War Ragnarok deserves it 10 times over. Both of these games are master classes of this industry and high watermarks that I don't really think we'll see again for the next 5 to 10 years. So I don't know. We'll see. I have a sneaky suspicion Elden Ring will win it just because it's so different, and this is very much a mirrored battle of what 2018 was with God of War and Red Dead Redemption, where God of War came in and won because it was this wholly unique thing and something that we've never experienced before, especially from that franchise at the time. And I think it was rewarded because it was so different and it pulled everything off in such an immaculate way. Whereas Red Dead, while absolutely amazing, was more Red Dead. And in this battle, God of War Ragnarok, while again absolutely incredible and amazing, it is God of War again, where Elden Ring is something wholly unique and wholly different that we hadn't seen before. And they both pulled it off perfectly. But I think Elden Ring will get it for the same reasons that God of War got it in 2018.
yeah, kind of hoping that because I mean, as much as I think God of War Ragnarok very very good game. I think all the points you hit were exactly what I was gonna say. I just think Elden Ring is new. You know, like it's brand new, it's fresh, it was made from basically scratch. I mean, yeah, they used certain things, but it was literally all brand new. It's something they've never done before. It's completely different than all of their other Souls like games and all that. And it's very impressive, and especially the impact it had this year, like for literally almost over a month. It was just all over the place. Um, I really do hope it wins because I really do think Elden Ring really does deserve this win. They deserve it. They blew everyone out of the water. They impressed so many people. They brought so many new fans and so many more, such a big community to the game. I mean, heck, even me who didn't like Souls games loves this game, and I really do just hope it wins. And I think God of War deserves a couple of these other rewards too, just because obviously they are nailing a lot of things. But I just think Elden Ring is a whole new thing. It was something new. God of War Ragnarok is new, but it's not completely new. It's not trying something different than what 2018 was already. So I do hope Elden Ring wins because I would be kind of sad if God of War wins, in my opinion, because it's really, like you had 2018, which was fair. Do you need 2022? So I think they're going to get enough praise. I'm sure they're going to win a lot of rewards. especially the acting one with Christopher Judge. So I do hope Elden Ring wins this. At least this one reward. If they don't win any of the other ones, I'm fine. But if they win Game of the Year, I'll be happy with that.
All right, shout out though before we move on. Shout out to Stray representing, man. They had so many nominations for a game that, while I absolutely adored, I did not think as many people were gonna love it as much as I did, or did love it. Sorry, as much as I did. It is worth noting God of War is leading in the nominations category with 10 nominations. A little bit unfair considering they got 2 for one category, but still something to be worth. 10 nominations, most nominated game in this year's Game Awards, and we will see on December 12th or 13th. I forgot when it is, but we'll come back to you with all of our reactions. I want to do like a live react to it, but I don't really see how we can get you, me, and DJ, all 3 of us together to live react to it. So we'll probably do a reaction to it afterwards, but I'm hoping for a live reaction. But all right, those were the Game of the Year nominations. Pretty much the main categories. There's a whole bunch of different ones. You can go over and check them out if you want. You can go over and submit your fan vote. It does matter a small amount, but you can let people know what you think. Let us know down below what you think the Game of the Year should be and why. Give us what you thought on everything. Also, tell us what you thought about God of War Ragnarok. Have you got a chance to jump into it yet? Going into number 2 on Around the Point, The Witcher 3 Next Gen has finally been announced. Well, not announced. Its release date has finally been revealed. Earlier this week, CD Projekt Red announced that the PS5, Xbox Series S, and PC Next Gen update for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt will be released on December 14th. So yeah, they said the upgrade, which is free to anyone who's bought the game previously, includes dozens of visual performances and technical enhancements over the original. These include ray tracing support, faster loading times on console, as well as a variety of mods integrated into the experience, among many other things. So finally, we're getting to play The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Next Gen. I know you and I both said we were going to check this out as soon as it came out. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to get to it. There's a lot of things. One day before Crisis Core Final Fantasy comes out. So for me, this will probably be pushed off to next year at some point in time. But for those of you out there that haven't had a chance to experience The Witcher 3, please do. It's, again, another masterclass of a video game. Redefine the open world genre and storytelling within the open world genre. So, and those of you that have experienced it, that's been waiting maybe a little bit to play it, guess what? It's free for you. All you gotta do is put your disc in, boom, there you go. You get the shiny version of it. So, shout out to CD Projekt Red. I mean, I feel like they had to make this free. They couldn't charge for this, even though they probably wanted to, based off what happened in the past couple years with them. But yeah, what do you think, man?
I'm excited. This will finally be my chance to actually go and play it, because ever since I heard that they're coming out with this next gen upgrade, I'm like, I'm not playing this game until that comes out, because I want to play it at its best form, just like I have been doing for a lot of games, like Last of Us Part 1. I did the same thing for that. So I definitely want to try and play this game. At least a lot of gaming will be slowed down, in my opinion, for me, because I mean, I'll be playing Call of Duty for a while by the time this comes out, and I'll hopefully have God of War beat by then. I would think I would have it beat by then. Definitely, probably even earlier than that by far. But yeah, I hope to play it. I'm very excited for this to come out. I'm very interested to see what ray tracing they're going to have. I wonder if it's going to global illumination, because clearly I don't think it's going to be reflections, because it's not a very reflection heavy game, in my opinion. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. Maybe it'll just be shadows. Probably gonna bet it's going to be. But yeah, I'm excited for this. It's free, so that has me hyped. So I'm definitely going to try it out whenever it comes out.
All right, number 3 on Around the Point. Remedy Entertainment has confirmed that Control 2 is in development for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Revealed earlier this week in a blog post, Remedy and 505 Games have revealed that they are co-developing and co-publishing the sequel, which was previously known as codename Huron, and thought to be a spin-off rather than a full second entry. This is what the developers over at Remedy had to say. He said, with Control 2, we'll take another leap into the unknown. It'll be an unexpected journey. It'll take a while, but to put it mildly, this is the most exciting project I've ever worked on. It's still early It's still in its early days of development, but it will be worth the wait. Trust me. So, Logan, you played Control, right? Or did you not play Control?
I played a little bit of it. I never
Okay.
beat it.
Okay. Well, Control is fantastic. I loved it. Um um Eric, who is my friend, not really Logan's friend, but he knows him. So he actually platinumed Control. So he very much loved this game. Um so yeah, I'm excited to see what this is. Interesting to find out. We know it's a bigger budget in terms of like the money behind it. Like we all knew going into it that Control was a lower budgeted game for Remedy, and it was impressive what they were able to do with that budget. The first game was built on $30 million, which is mind-boggling that they were able to make Control on $30 million. This game's budget is rumored to be around 52 million, so they've upped that significant. Well, not significantly. I guess it's like what 15%, something like that. So I'll be interested to see if that extra money goes to size, scope, or they keep it a more tight knit experience and just focus on visual presentation and like performance capture and those other things. So, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, this is always exciting. I'm happy that they're coming out with it. Probably won't play it because I didn't even play and beat the first one. I mean, I played the first one but never beat it. Um, I really don't know why. Maybe it's probably my problem I always have. I play a game and then I'm like, oh, look at this, and then I forget. And so I don't think Control One was bad. I didn't dislike it. It's just I never kept playing it. So yeah, I'm excited for this though. I'm happy to see that they're making a sequel, and I'm happy that they're getting a bigger budget. And I'm sure for the people that love Control One, I'm sure they're very excited to see that there's going to be a sequel for it.
All right, moving quickly here. Number 4 on Around the Point. This one stirred up a bunch of angry fanboys on the interwebs this week. Go figure. But during the Q3 2022 earning results, Activision Blizzard wrote about Call of Duty heading into the next year, revealing that the company has plans for the most robust Call of Duty live operations to date, the next full premium release in the blockbuster annual series, and even more engaging free-to-play experiences all across the platform. What people have managed to gather from this is that they have confirmed that in 2023, Call of Duty will receive a full premium release. Now, what that means in its entirety, I have a good idea of it. I think the internet has a good idea of it, especially the media side of the internet. But the fanboys out there blew up because what else do they have to do with their lives? And they were like, "Oh, they lied to us. They said there wasn't going to be a game in 2023." And I think most intelligent thinking people out there understand that this is more than likely an expansion, a significantly sized story expansion to Modern Warfare 2. That is not necessarily my opinion. Sorry, that's not my thought. That's what other people thought, but I wholly agree that there's not many other things that this could be. I don't feel like Treyarch is ready to go. Definitely Sledgehammer isn't ready to go. We have word that they're creating a whole brand new Call of Duty experience, leaving World War II. The rumor is they're moving on to Advanced Warfare 2. So they're probably not even close to ready to go yet. But yeah, I think it's pretty easy to tell in my eyes what this is going to be. Don't really know why people blew up so much about this. Did they really think there wasn't going to be anything new from Call of Duty in 2023? Just because it's not a new game, they really think that Activision is gonna be like, yeah, we're not gonna do anything after making 20 straight years of Call of Duties. Like, what do you got?
Um, I'm very interested because I heard rumors before Mafia 2 even came out that there was still going to be something in 2023. It just wasn't going to be a full blown Call of Duty. It was going to be a free to play kind of thing, is what I heard. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be a smart idea just to continue what Mafia 2 has and continuing it for 2 years, and yeah, maybe come out with a new story expansion. Obviously, release a lot more maps, a lot more weapons, etc. like that. I've heard a lot of rumors that they are going to all the Mafia 2 classic maps in year two. I've heard rumors about that, a lot of things with that. obviously they're rumors, and it seems like a lot of these aren't really always true because people said there was going to be a map creator in Modfer 2. As you can see, there's no map creator in Modfer 2. So um, I don't know what to believe about this. I do think, though, they will continue Modfer 2 support after the first year. I think they're just going to keep going with it, and they're going to keep releasing maps and stuff. And if anything, I have heard a lot of rumors about an expansion for the story, which would be pretty cool in my opinion. So hopefully that is kind of true. That'd be pretty sick to see expansion for a story. I don't think Call of Duty has literally ever done that, so that'd be kind of cool. So I guess we'll see. I don't know, but I don't know why people are getting upset about it. Like, what's to be upset? It's probably not. It's not going to be
It's the internet,
any
man. What
big
do you
company. I
mean?
know.
It's the
Like, it's not the big
internet.
companies making a Call of Duty. It's probably them continuing with either Mafia 2, which makes sense, or they're making some kind of, I don't know what else they could be doing. I just hope it is just Mafia 2 support, because I think, well, what confuses me is you and DJ. I'm really confused by this. It should be Treyarch's turn, but supposedly it's Sledgehammer's turn again because Sledgehammer made Vanguard. But I guess they're making the next Call of Duty. So when's Treyarch making a
Well, yeah,
game?
because Treyarch's
Kind of
been
weird.
doing a lot of other stuff. Like they did, fuck. I mean, Treyarch did the multiplayer
No,
for
zombies
yeah,
for
so
Vanguard,
yeah, they did the
but it sucked.
zombies for Vanguard, and then I believe they were the one tasked with the overseeing of Warzone when Infinity Ward got spun off into Modern Warfare 2. So I think they just been doing a lot, and maybe Activision's like, all right, we'll give you the time to create something wholly new, because we all know that Black Ops 4 wasn't what Treyarch wanted it to be. They had a whole plan for that, a very ambitious plan, and they just weren't given the time or didn't have the time to make that game what
You
it
talking about Cold
was.
War or Black Ops 4?
No, Black Ops 4.
Well, Cold War was their last one.
Yeah, I know, but you
Oh,
know, I was still saying Black Ops 4 came out, and there's all kinds of stories out there that actually
oh yeah, yeah.
Treyarch was disappointed with that because they couldn't do what they wanted to do. And I don't even think, yeah, they didn't do the whole development on Cold War. I think there was another
No,
half one. Um, Raven
Raven
did the
saw they did the campaign.
yeah, Raven did the campaign, and Treyarch only focused on the multiplayer. That's right. Sorry, no, I was wrong. Raven actually took over development of Warzone. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on at Treyarch. Maybe they asked for another year. They asked for more time because they're making something really, really cool. Let's hope. I hope that's what it is. And we'll see. Because I know they're working on some Modern Warfare 2 stuff. We talked about it last episode. They're working on the new ranked mode, so they're busy right now doing other stuff. And at this point, like, do these individual developers even develop their own games anymore? Or is it just one big Activision conglomerate developing all the Call of Duty games and just different aspects of the things were built? Now, we do know Infinity Ward built Modern Warfare 2. They built Warzone 2. They built all that. They did it all themselves. But
Yeah,
the two other studios, I don't know, for the past 5 or so years, it's been a little weird, especially from an outsider's perspective. Like, they haven't built a whole game in quite a while. Like the last whole
yeah.
game that either of those two teams built was World War II, and that was built completely by Sledgehammer. But the last couple releases by both of those have been like kind of halvesies in a way. So I don't know.
Especially Vanguard, man.
Yeah,
Vanguard was a brutal, disgusting mess of a Call of Duty. So
it's weird.
yeah, I definitely. This is why it's a good thing. Not these big breaks, and honestly, I'd totally be fine if they want to continue the year on and maybe charge us a little bit. I don't know about $70 like Jason Schreier here is saying, but I think if they want to, like, not re-release, but in a sense, kind of like there's a couple other games I know that have kind of done this. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of World War Z, but like they had like a whole season one kind of thing or a year one, and then they had a year two pass. Actually, a couple games do that. So if they just kind of want to come out with like a year two in a sense of Call of Duty Mafia 2, I mean, I'd be fine with it. It still gets the money, and as long for what I pay for, I'm cool with it because I would love to keep playing Mafia 2 for multiple years. Like, it's actually going to be kind of nice for once, instead of just going every year to a new Call of Duty, to actually stick to one Call of Duty for once and actually, continue and everything. Because I like Modern Warfare 2, and this is probably a good one to actually stick with for multiple years. I don't know about the other two companies when they come out with games. I hope they could pull it off. I think if anyone's going to pull it off again, it's going to be Treyarch, because they have zombies, and zombies is very good. At least in Cold War, I loved it. So if they continue that and they were able to, add a lot of support for that, I think people would love that and eat it up. So I am very curious though about Sledgehammer. They have had a rough going, so I don't know what they're gonna do. Even with Advanced Warfare 2, I don't know how well that's gonna go, in my opinion. So
Who knows? I don't know. I mean, everyone liked Advanced Warfare when it came out because it was so different. And maybe we've reached that time where the futuristic Call of Duties can have the time in the sun. I don't know. People seem to always go back and forth. Like they wanted World War
yeah,
II
it's so
games
weird.
again until World War II games came out, and then they didn't want it. I know that the games really weren't that great. I understand that, but it's still there was a lot of people that didn't like it because it was set in World War II. It's like, well, that's what you fucking asked for. So I don't understand what's happening. And if they just make another Modern Warfare game, not titled Modern Warfare, but like set in modern times, people will get tired of that eventually. So I guess it's the cycle of torture that they put themselves into making these games every single year come out. So they got to keep doing new stuff. And like we've talked about beforehand, like I don't know what other time zone or what other place Call of Duty can be set at that would be brand new to the audience. Maybe post-apocalyptic Call of Duty. I don't even know how that would look. But instead, you can't go too far forward because then you're encroaching on like Halo territory. Now, obviously, the games won't feel the same, but idealistically and like visually, you're kind of encroaching on that territory. And I don't really know if they want to take that fight head on, but who knows? I don't know. Call of Duty's weird, man.
Yeah, they're kind of like in a
The-
weird spot right now,
yeah,
because
they're
it's like,
stuck.
where do they go? They can't go future. They obviously can't go back to the past, and they already have modern. So where do you go? That's such a like revolutionary war. I don't know. Uh,
Dude, that'd be
I
fucking
I
sick. Are
am
you kidding
curious.
me? Revolutionary would
Yeah,
be cool. You're
that
just
would be pretty
standing there in a
sick.
line and you just die over and over again. But like every time you die, you just go to another soldier and you shoot your gun, then die, then go to another soldier. Well, that's kind of cool.
Calling it a kill streak, and it's like cannons off the hill or whatever. That'd be pretty funny.
It's like the opening to Battlefield 1, where you play a whole bunch of different
Yes.
perspectives and every time they die. Yeah, I don't know if you can make a whole game about that, but who knows? Um, Multiplayer in the American Civil War, not American Civil War, the American Revolutionary War, that would be interesting. I don't know. Again, I don't know how you could do it, but yeah, it's a thing. It's like I think about it. It's like I don't know what I want from the series. I can't. And again, I
Vietnam.
Vietnam War. I mean,
I
they've
mean, they
kind of
kind of did that with Black Ops 1, but like they didn't actually do just strictly Vietnam. Be
well,
pretty sick.
they did Black Ops Vietnam, so it wasn't like war
Yeah, a
based, but
little
it was.
bit. It was more Cold War-ish area, but like I think it'd be cool if they did strictly Vietnam one. That'd be kind of cool. So I don't know.
They can delve
That's a
into
good
the
idea.
Tet Offensive. So I started
Yes.
doing this new thing where I actually will listen to history documentaries when I fall asleep. Not because I'm not interested in them, just because it's easier to fall asleep than like video game stuff. So
That's fair.
I watched a video the other day on the Battle of the Bulge and different ways that the Nazis could have actually won that battle instead of losing it. But that's a story neither here nor there. Let's move on. How about that?
All right.
Number 5. Oh fuck, I don't know. I lost track. Yeah, number 5
You're five.
on Around the Point. A little bit different for something here on the show. Not really talking about video games in any respect, but I just wanted to take this time and acknowledge this individual's contribution to things that we love, and especially a singular character that both Logan and I have loved for, I would be confident to say, most of our lives. Kevin Conroy, the voice behind Batman for the animated series, animated movies, the games, everything. He sadly passed away this past week at the age of 66. So I just want to take the time. We can do a moment of silence if you want, whatever. But I just wanted to take the time to recognize this man's contribution to the character, and to say, for a point, he is the best Batman.
I agree.
No live action Batman will ever beat what Kevin Conroy brought to the role as a whole, and just with his voice and how he portrayed the Dark Knight. So, thank you, sir. Sad to see you go. Died a little young in my eyes. 66 in 2022 is a fairly young age. But, yeah. Thank you for everything that you did for us as fans. We'll miss you. Good day, sir.
Good day, sir.
I didn't know how to finish that statement, but
Yeah.
What do you think, man?
It really sucks. I actually heard about this like within this week from a couple people I work with, and yeah, no, it really does suck because he's an insanely good actor. I didn't know that he was only 66 years old. That is like, I know that's in a sense old, but not really. Like, it's still kind of young in my opinion. Like 66 is pretty early to die. So it really does suck to see him go. Again, easily he's easily like one of my favorite, at least voice actors for Batman. And it sucks, especially if there's ever anything like Arkham or anything. We'll never get to hear his voice again. So that kind of sucks a lot.
Dude, I read early. I read this week. He played Batman. He played the Dark Knight 74 times.
Dang, really? Holy crap.
That's insane. And like, it's just like, I would make note when he wasn't Batman. It felt weird. Like, there's been certain animated movies that come out that where he's not Batman, and I'm like, it's not my Batman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. There was rumors out there about a decade ago that he was gonna actually be cast in a live action role. I don't know how that would have turned out or anything like that, but I don't really know how the guy physically stands or anything like that. I don't think I've ever actually seen a picture of him. I just know of him. So, but all that outside of the word, sorry to see you go, man. You said you gave us the best version of one of my favorite characters ever. So, all right. Anything else you got to say on that?
I do not.
So, all right. Something we started last episode. We end around the point with the Quickies section. And no, not that Quickie. Sorry, everyone out there. Logan and I are 4 hours away from each other. We can't do that, nor would YouTube let us do that. So this is a Quickie of stories. So I just wanted to run through some things real quick to get your opinion on some of them, and then we'll start to get on out of here. I'm going to shorten the LTR because we've been going for a while. So, all right. Nintendo Switch has announced they have finally crossed 114 million units sold as of the end of the fiscal year of March 2023. So congratulations to Nintendo. I believe you're officially past PS4 now and making your long trek and probably coming up a little short to PS2, but good luck on that. I'll be interested to see where you end. Google has officially begun processing the Stadia returns that they promised a couple weeks ago. DJ and I went over the story in depth. If you want to go check out everything that we had to say about Google Stadia shutting down, they have officially begun to process those returns. So if you have games out there, go ahead, get your money back. Fuck the man. Do what you need to do. Marvel's Avengers have announced later this month on November 29th, the Winter Soldier will join the roster of playable characters in the blog. It'll be announced on Update 2.7, which will include him as the hero, the new Omega level threat AIM cloning lab. That sounds exciting. It says he adds to the roster an almost purely assault-focused hero focused on dealing damage to his enemies in a variety of ways. Players will find multiple different builds and playstyles to embody that character fantasy, from the range marksman to an expert in hand-to-hand combat to the deadly super soldier we know him as. Apparently, this is going to be actually coming with a whole like mission chain. I hope it's not like the Spider-Man and Thor mission chain where it just tells you to do stuff. From what I read, this might actually be something of more significance with cutscenes and more akin to what we got with Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. So that would be kind of cool. You know me, I'm excited. I'll jump in, I'll play the character, I'll level them up, and then I'll roll out like I always do. So, all right, last news story. A fucking weird one with the internet being the internet again. CD Projekt Red has gotten some kickback for some reason when they announced that Cyberpunk 2077's DLC, The Phantom Liberty, will be a paid expansion. People, for some reason, weren't happy with that. Who the hell knows? But, so yeah. Duh, it's going to be a paid expansion. Both the Witcher DLCs were paid expansions. So, no news on what it will cost yet, but probably we're looking at somewhere in the $20 to $25 range, I would say, based off, depending on how big it is, I guess. So those are the quickies for you this week. Not the quickies that you want, but the quickies that we are allowed to provide to you as an audience. Logan, what do you got to say about any of this?
Let's see. Cool to see Switch past 114 million. Very impressive and very exciting. Want to see Switch 2, please. Screw you, Google. And Winter Soldier. Wow, I'm surprised this game's still alive. Very impressed.
Oh, it is 100%.
Dude, they
not alive. They're just putting this out. The game is not alive anymore. I want to make that known. I tried to get in matchmaking the other day. I guess not the other. It was like a couple weeks ago, and it took me a not insignificant amount of time to just find a group of 3 people. So, 4 people total. So the game is not lively anymore, but they have certain characters that they've promised to us. So I guess they have to deliver. Still waiting on She-Hulk.
Whenever that comes out. That.
There's also rumors that we're supposed to be getting Captain Marvel 2 at some point in time in the future, but I guess we'll see her in 2024. I don't know.
I'm surprised that even there's still updates coming out. But I for some reason too, I don't know why my brain went to Phantom Liberty was free. That's also because the price after showing it, which kind of surprised me. So I think that's another reason why probably people thought it was. But to get angry to hear that it was paid, I'm not really upset about it because, I mean, they have to pay for the fact that they developed an entire story with voice actors and everything, especially Keanu Reeves coming back. I'm sure they spent top dollar on getting all of them back in and everything. So as long as it's a very good DLC, I have no problem with it. I'm actually still pretty excited for it, and I definitely will probably try to play it whenever it comes out. I hope they add a lot to the game when this update happens. I don't know if you heard about, but they had a soft like whatever update that was not really heavily announced, but they did some pretty cool stuff. They added again, they're adding more world building stuff into the game now. Like I know this is gonna sound really dumb, but they gave pedestrians umbrellas now. So when it rains, they hold umbrellas and everything. They're all different.
Let's go.
And I know,
Umbrellas
right? And then also they added FSR 2.1 to the console versions of the game. So it actually looks a lot more clean. And the solution that they use to do dynamic resolution looks a lot more clean and better altogether. And somewhat, doesn't really do much to increase the performance, but it's whatever. But no, I mean, I'm excited for this. As long as it's a really big expansion, like a Witcher 3 kind of expansion, I'll be very hyped. Especially if they really go balls to the wall and make this like basically an entire other game. $20, $25 is so worth it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm still fucking waiting on Sony to announce Forbidden West DLC. I know it's coming. Everyone knows it's fucking coming. We even pretty much have a name for it. Just give it to us, please.
How do you think I feel about Elden Ring, dude? Where's the fucking DLC for Elden Ring? Like, where's that at?
That is my only problem with DLC is it takes so long to come out that I'm kind of done playing it. Like, if Horizon DLC comes out in February, which would be a year since the game launched, bad example. I don't think there's too much I'm doing in February because I got Resident Evil in March. But especially what happened when the first game came out, with Frozen Wilds came out. I was doing other stuff, and it's like, look, I loved it, but I don't have time to play it. I don't want to jump back in. But this time I actually am ready for it. I still have Forbidden West on my hard drive. Oh, sorry, not hard drive, SSD. If I want to get specific, it's still on my console. It's ready and waiting for the Blazing Sands, or the what's it called? The Blazing. I don't remember. There's a rumored name out there. But all right. Enough talk. Let's jump into LTR. This is going to be a shortened LTR. We're only going to go over one game because we're running out of time here. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, LTR is our segment where we deep dive into some of the bigger games releasing and how the critics out there are scoring it and reacting to it. And then we give you our opinions to how they scored about it and our overall opinions about what we think the game as a whole. So this week's deep dive, we did God of War last week since the reviews launched so early, but that game, like you all listened to, 94 on OpenCritic and Metacritic, still being reviewed absolutely phenomenally. And now that we've got them play it, I can say it totally and 100% uniformly deserves that score. So our deep dive this week is Sonic Frontiers, a game that Logan and I have been excited to see how people react to it. We're not excited to play it ourselves. I've been excited to see how people reacted to it. And overall, I was actually kind of let down because the game seems just kind of mid, to use the general term of modern folk out there. It just seems like the game is perfectly fine. And I was honestly kind of hoping for a shit show, but I didn't get that. But anyway, that's outside the book. Sonic Frontiers right now has a Metacritic score of 72, a 73 on OpenCritic, and here's what people had to say about it. Gaming Bolt gave the game an 8 out of 10 on the high end and said, "It's not a home run, but Sonic Frontiers does so much of the things that really matter so well that it's easily the most fun 3D Sonic has been in years, maybe even decades, and a genuinely fun and engaging game on its own merits." IGN gave the game a 7 out of 10 and said Sonic Frontiers is a delightfully weird and experimental evolution of the Sonic games so many of us grew up with. Its series of open-world islands are filled with so much variety and pieces of Sonic history, from classic platforming stages to silly mini-games, that they're enjoyable to explore even when awful graphical pop-in is a consistent hedgehog spine in your side. Some of the new stuff Frontier tries out, like the smart toggling between 2D and 3D perspectives out in the open world or the cyberspace levels, are fantastic ways to pack as much Sonic goodness as possible into one package, while others, especially combat, are uninteresting experiments gone wrong. Still, I largely enjoyed my time running around the frontiers, making it feel like a promising first attempt at what could be a bright new era for Sonic and friends. And at the bottom end, Games Radar Plus gave the game a 4 out of 10 and had this to say: Sonic Frontiers features the kind of lightweight yet engaging storytelling that should easily capture fans young and old, though I'd hate to be a child forced to play through some of the most abysmal platforming featured throughout. Was taking Sonic open world an ambitious endeavor? Absolutely. Does it pay off? Hell no. So there you go. I don't know about you, but I was actually kind of sad that this game didn't get ripped apart and that it seems to just be a perfectly fine to okay game. Definitely an above average 3D Sonic game, which great for Sonic fans out there. I'm super happy for you guys. The game didn't end up being the absolute shit show that we all thought it was going to be. But for me, a little disappointed that it just turned out to be okay. I was hoping it was going to be a shit show, but what do you got, man?
This game, yeah, I was definitely full-heartedly expecting this game to be just a pile of shit, you know? Like, I mean, everything they showed in this game beforehand just made the game look really, really bad. And I still think it looks really, really bad even from the stuff I watched on it, especially with the pop-in. What happened? Like, you want to talk about bad pop-in, dude. This game takes the cake of probably the worst pop-in I've seen in a modern game in a long while. Uh, but I mean, I don't even know what to think. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed too, but also impressed that it even managed to hit, the mid area, the good, where it just hits good, but it's not like anything better than that. It's weird. And yeah, I don't know. I'm also even more impressed that people gave it such a high review in general, because like the world is just so bland and shoved together, and it just looks like, again, like we've made jokes many times before. It just looks like an Unreal Engine demo. So it's like it just doesn't. I don't know.
Now, to give
But
some credit or credence to it, the only thing we've seen from the game, us who haven't played it, is the first island. Apparently, there were 5 islands, and all of them are massively different in terms of visual design. So now we haven't seen that. Maybe it would have been a good idea to give us maybe a little peek of that as, some marketing decision, because I only thought this game looked like this. And
exactly.
I knew there were other islands, but I didn't know they were as visually diverse as apparently they are based on what people are saying here. But yeah, you guys know out there, I talk about it all the time. I'm a big fan of Skill Up. I like his reviews, even when I don't necessarily agree with his opinion. I think he's one of the better reviewers out there, and he's shit on this game. So I got my credence there. So, but overall, yeah, it's I guess I'm happy for the Sonic fans out there. I'm happy for Sonic in general because I still think it's in a very good place in pop culture in general based off the movies and everything. So I'm glad to see this doesn't completely ruin that and they still have a chance. And it seems like they might have something here, but this is just the first step, and maybe in the next one they figure it all out. Maybe in the next one, running on the PS6, they can get the game to not have pop-in in 2028. Who the hell knows?
At least it runs at 60 FPS, right?
Does it?
It does.
Oh, wow,
It
that's
does.
impressive. Hey, it's a
Yeah.
fucking... I mean,
Well,
at this point in
except for the
2022...
Series S. The Series S doesn't.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I gotta tell you a funny story real quick about this.
Hit
So
me with it.
Series S only runs at 30. But the funny thing is, the developers don't understand what consoles are like. They're like, oh, if you just turn your resolution on your TV down to 1080p, it'll run at 60. And everyone tried that and it didn't, because you know what it does? It just basically takes that higher resolution and it downscales to 1080p. It doesn't change the frame rate at all. So Series S,
You can change your output on the console itself, not the TV. You can't change
yes,
the
I
output
know.
on
If
the
you change the
TV.
output on the console, it still doesn't do anything. It
Oh,
just
it just
basically what
upscales
it
it.
does. Yeah, it just downscales, or
Oh,
it
downscale,
uses
sorry.
that upscale resolution and it brings it down to 1080p, so it makes it look a lot more crisp and clean. But that's it. So like you're still getting 30 FPS. You don't get 60 FPS by changing your resolution in any way or form. I just
Well,
thought
I
that was
mean,
kind of funny. It was
yeah, I mean,
interesting.
we know the developers, especially of this game. I don't remember the guy's name, but he doesn't think we understand video games. Like, he had to explain to us why this game wasn't an open world game, and then he went on to explain what an open world game was. So
Yeah.
it's clear that we as fans don't understand anything about video games. So fair enough, I guess. Fuck you. All right, so that's it. I don't have anything else to say. Congratulations, people out there that bought this game. I had a funny story from work. I forgot what it was. What was that? Oh my god. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have a funny story about this game. I remember now. There was this guy that came into work. All right, November 9th. Okay, we all know what happened on November 9th. God of War came out, right? He comes up to the tech desk in a God of War t-shirt, wearing the fucking Omega symbol, the Kratos symbol, the God of War t-shirt, and he goes, "Hey, can I get a game?" And in my head, I'm like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna go get this game." He goes, "Yeah, can I get Sonic Frontiers for the Switch?" I'm like, "Man, you threw me through a fucking loop on that one. I had no clue that was coming at me. I just stared at him for was probably only a couple seconds, but it felt like a lot longer when I was like, Are you sure that's
Your
what you want me
soul.
to ask? Are you sure that's what you wanted me to get for you? Sonic Frontiers on the Nintendo Switch while you're wearing a God of War t-shirt
Especially
on the launch
Nintendo
day
Switch.
of God of War. You sure that's what you want to ask me for?" But hey, he
Dude, that
it was so
that's a
funny.
double
Dude.
negative, man. That's a double negative. Like, first he's wearing a God of War t-shirt, then he makes you pull out a game, and it's not only just Sonic Frontiers, but it's Sonic Frontiers for the Nintendo Switch. Like,
When I
that's
tell you I've never
so.
went through more emotional turmoil from someone else's financial decision ever before in my life, I was so confused, and I really just wanted to tell this guy, no, I'm not going to get you that game. I'm going to go get you God of War. Like, you clearly want, you're wearing the shirt. I mean, in all fairness, he might have got, like, the collector's editions, and therefore he was sitting at his house, and he's like, well, let me go pick up Sonic Frontiers. But if you got the collector's edition, then you have a PS4 or a PS5. Why would you buy Switch? Why would you buy Sonic Frontiers on the Switch? I'm telling you, man, I went through the fucking ringer with this guy. I was so befuddled. It's just
For the Switch. Oh no.
Adventures of Target, man. It is interesting sometimes. All right, I was gonna go into a deep dive because it's a game that I care about, but I'm not going to. I'll just let you know. Tactics Ogre Reborn came out and it's being scored very, very well. OpenCritic has it at an 85. Metacritic has it at an 86. So great. I'm glad. This is a very fundamentally important game for the video game industry as a whole. It created essentially a whole genre. Not created, it redefined a genre that we have since gone off, and now Fire Emblem is a part of that. Final Fantasy Tactics is a part of that. So both of those franchises owe some amount of credit to this game and what it did for the SRPG genre. So happy to see it get its due, get its chops, and I'm happy that a remake didn't suck for once coming from Square Enix. So on the low end, actually, one of the lowest scores was from Nintendo Life itself. It gave the game a 7 out of 10. So I don't know, maybe everyone else is wrong, but all right. The rest of the week goes as this. Atari 50, the anniversary celebration, came out and got an 86. Among Us VR came out on Vive and Oculus and got an 82. This Way Madness Lies came out on PC and got an 82. Lunasis Tice, whatever, fuck it. Switch on PC got an 83. Football Manager 23 got an 84. And A Little to the Left on PC and Mac representing got a 76. So, all right. Logan, have you watched Among Us VR? Not watched. Have you played Among Us VR yet?
No, I have not. I need to watch some gameplay of it because I'm very curious on it. I don't really want to spend $12 on it. I think it should probably cost a little less, but it's whatever. But I'll see. I'll have to watch some gameplay on it. I kind of want to try it. Maybe if Amy gets it too, maybe I will get it and give it a try because it does sound like a very cool game to be on VR. I think it fits very well. There is a lot of funny videos coming out though, where like adults are scaring children to death playing the game because obviously it's all in VR and first person. So when you become the traitor or killer, you could really scare the crap out of people, I guess. So I don't know. I'll have to look it up. So
What do you think about Tactics Ogre? Hey, I told DJ to put it on his fantasy team. He didn't listen to me. Like, I don't want to say I'm good at this, but I mean, so far our league has proved that I'm fairly good at this, so maybe you should have listened to me. I'm just saying.
I know you told me about this game, but I don't know jack squat about it, and I've never played it before. So I have no idea.
I love this game. I played it when I was very young on the PS1. I wish I had time to play it right now, but it's like a 40-hour RPG, so I don't have time to play that right now. So, all right. Anything else? Anything else here that you'd be interested in? Oh yeah, did you check out Football Manager 23?
Oh, of course. It's my
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
game, and I got it on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh hell yeah!
Course. Yeah,
hell yeah, you did. Hey, did you play A Little to the Left on your MacBook?
Yes, I did. Runs at
yeah.
a solid 3 frames.
That's what I'm talking
kidding.
about. All right.
Ooh.
Out this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're a couple days late, but y'all don't know that. So on November 15th, Iville comes out on PS5 and PS4. Floodland on PC. Pentiment on Xbox Series X and S and PC. By the way, Pentiment is getting great reviews out there. Smurfs Kart on Nintendo Switch. Somerville on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox and PC. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge on PS5. Ys 8 La Cremosa of Donna on PS5. On November 16th, also known as today, as of recording, Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 drops for us. We will come back to you hopefully next week with a little bit of reactions if we get a chance to play it. On November 17th, Goat Simulator 3 comes out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC. By the way, next gen only. Interesting. Then on November 18th, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales comes out on PC. PID on Switch. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on Nintendo Switch. Resident Evil 3 on Switch. And the Dark Pictures Anthology The Devil in Me on PS5, for Xbox Series S and S and PC. Oh, another
Huh.
big week, another good week. I will let you know out there, Logan. We'll be definitely doing a deep dive, at least in LTR, on Scarlet and Violet, and maybe Dark Pictures. We'll see. It is a part of our league, so but yeah, Pentiment getting great scores out there. I know already. And what else you got?
Yeah, it's great to see that Pentiment's doing very well. It actually looks pretty cool, and I mean, it's made by a developer I like, Obsidian. So, uh, I'll definitely gotta check it out. Maybe I don't know. Obviously, I don't have time, so I know I'll always be on Game Pass because Xbox owns Obsidian. So I always know I could probably try it at any moment. So I'll probably be getting it at some point to play it. Because it does look kind of cool. It seems very interesting, and it's got that Obsidian RPG element to it, where it has a lot of branching paths and a lot of decision making in it, but it also does it in a very unique art style. And I've only heard good things about it, so I'll have to maybe try it out. I am kind of surprised about the Teenage Mutant Turtle thing. I didn't know that didn't come out on PlayStation 5. I thought that already did. So that confused me.
It
But
may be
yeah,
one of them
Warzone
wrong
2.
things. I don't know. Sometimes
Warzone
when
2,
I
I'm very
sorry, my bad,
You're
my
good,
fault.
go on.
I'm
Don't
just
say it.
saying.
You're good.
Sometimes when I look at the release things, I feel like it's not right, but I put it in anyway. Who the hell knows?
That's fair. Well, so I'm really excited for Warzone 2, though I'm pretty confused by it. So we'll probably have to talk about it off podcast, but I'm just a little confused about I thought I heard that you could like customize and save your weapons for Warzone, but you can't. So I don't know where it was supposed to be, but it's not in the game. So I'll have to talk to you about that after this, but I just think that's kind of weird. When I got on there, I noticed that you can't save weapons still. So I don't know where that's all supposed to go together. But uh, interesting to see Goat Simulator 3 only coming on next gen. That's a bold and very strange move, in my opinion, because the game doesn't look that crazy to be only on next gen consoles. But
Are you kidding me? Did
um,
you see the detail in that box that was broken? Crazy, man.
oh yeah, dude, it was
Yeah.
wild. It was
Puts God of War to
truly
shame.
next gen. Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, why is Goat Simulator 3 not on the Game of the Year? I mean, come on, it looks so good. Um, Also, I didn't know Spider-Man Miles Morales was coming out so soon, the PC version. I'll be curious to see what. I'll probably be just watching Digital Foundry's review and video on it whenever it comes out, because I'm always curious to see what differences and what new things they add to it. And heck, if I really wanted to, I could probably get it on my Steam Deck and probably play it on there. Because I mean, you could play Spider-Man, the normal one, on the Steam Deck too, and it runs pretty well. But I also keep forgetting that Scarlet and Violet's coming out so soon. When you sent me that video, I'm like, oh, I forgot this game was still coming out. I stopped paying attention to it for a while, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not getting it at launch. So it's gonna suck. I'm probably not gonna be able to have any game at all, but I will probably be getting it at. So you know what? This is what I should put on my Christmas list. So maybe I will put this on my Christmas list. All right, I'll probably be getting it Christmas. We'll see. Um,
Well, I'll definitely be
but
getting it, so we'll come back
yeah.
to you next week with my opinions. We'll see if DJ has some time or not. Oh, by the way, he didn't he I don't think he actually ended up buying God of War, so I'm pretty sure the review is just gonna be you and me. So
Oh, I figured, yeah.
we don't have to wait. No
Yeah,
offense,
he's
DJ.
probably already spent his money on Pokemon. So,
Hey,
uh,
I'm very excited for Pokemon. All right, fuck off. By the way, yeah, no,
I
when I sent you
guess.
that video, do you see how many fucking copies we
Oh,
have?
I know.
Holy
That's
shit.
mind blowing, dude. I was like, holy crap.
That's
They
like
really
four
are planning to sell.
that's like 4 times the amount we got for Call of Duty and God of War combined.
Jeez.
It was when I saw that, I was like, holy shit. But hey, Pokemon is one of the best selling franchises of all time, so
You have to let me know what you think of it. And
I'll definitely let you know.
also let me know if you ever get to try multiplayer out, and let me know what you think of that. I don't know if you ever are going to do it. You probably not. It doesn't care about that. But
No,
if
DJ and
you
I are planning on it
do,
actually.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
I
why
heard it,
he.
from what I heard, it sounds very disappointing the more I hear it, because it doesn't sound like you can actually play the entire game in co-op. It's only like
those
specific
small, yeah,
things.
those
Yeah,
small
that kind
little
of
counters
sucks.
about it. No, but DJ and I have already talked about it. I'm getting Scarlet because I want to. He's getting Violet because he doesn't care, and then we're gonna catch the exclusive Pokemon, 2 of each, and then trade it with each other so we can have everything.
But yeah, just let me know in general how the game is because I am curious about. I do want to get it, and I keep forgetting. I kind of forgot this was coming out, and I'm definitely gonna probably ask for it for Christmas now, so I can hopefully get it. I'm not assuming I'm gonna get it, but hopefully. But other than that, the last thing I want to talk about is I also didn't know that the Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil and Me, is coming out already. I've heard nothing about this game. I know the gist of it after beating the third game, but I never seen a single thing about this game. No advertising, no nothing. I haven't seen anything on YouTube about it. So I'm curious about this game, because I thought the third one was pretty good, and this one from the little clips I've seen looked pretty cool. So I'm curious to see how well it does, or if it's actually any good at all. So, but other than
Yeah.
that,
And a last
that's
little
it.
update before we get on out of here. In the projected points, DJ has gone on past you, Mr. Logan. He's projected to get 114. You're projected to get 111. So,
Really,
yeah, I am definitely number
what
one.
did he get?
So he picked up Need for Speed Unbound, Somerville, which only got him 2 points, and then I persuaded him to get Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion because the game's gonna score fairly well. So I don't see why
Hopefully,
it wouldn't.
Pokemon
So
scores very, very well. I hope so. That'd be pretty hype, but
I
we'll
think
see.
it. I think it might, especially since Arceus scored so well, and I thought Arceus was not good, really that good at all. That game got like an 84, and I was like, oh okay, well fuck me, I don't know anything then. But all right, let's go out of here, man. What do you think? I got God of War to
Yep.
play.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll be able to play it tonight, but hopefully tomorrow. So
I
yeah,
don't
I'm ready to get out of here.
I don't work till 8, so I'm gonna go eat and then play till like midnight. So all right. What the fuck's that mean? On that note, this brings us to the end of our show. Everyone who has either been watching or listening, we just want to take this time as always and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without your support, we could not do what we're trying to do here at the Experience Point. But please help us to continue growing by telling everyone out there that you know who even has the slightest appreciation for all things pop culture that they have some new friends waiting to talk all sorts of fandoms with them. We would greatly appreciate it. Mr. Birdman, any last words?
Um, I don't know if we're gonna be here next week, so if not, I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I know you see a lot of Christmas stuff right now, so you probably expect a lot of people to say happy Christmas right now because it seems to be Christmassy out here, or Christmas everywhere, pretty much already. But I'd like to say, everyone, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. They all have a really great break, and they all have a good new, well, I guess just enjoy the fall season because it's finally getting cold here. Last week it was still 90 degrees. Well, this week now it's getting down to the 20s and 30s, and I'm loving to see it, and I'm very happy, and I can't wait for Christmas. So, other than that, I would like to shout out our Patreon Platinum member, Logan Leffler. As always, we do very much appreciate your support each and every month. And as always, too, if you'd like to support us in other ways, such as either liking or subscribing to our channel on YouTube, we would very much appreciate it. And also, if you guys want to just talk down below in the comments, we always reply pretty much to every comment. So if you guys have something to say or maybe a point that we didn't get to, just comment down below. Other than that, you guys will hear us on the next one.
Once again, thanks everyone for listening and following along with us. This has been another episode of the XP Podcast brought to you by all of us here at the Experience Point. I hope everyone has a great week. And as always, we'll talk to you on the next one. See ya.
See ya.